Hello. Whoops.
Hi, Deanna. It's Bill.
Hi, how are you all? I'm having a little issue here. Oh, okay. Let me just stop this for a second. Give me a sec. I'm having an issue here that I need to handle. Let me let people in while I handle this. My screen isn't mirroring for some weird reason. Give me 1 second. All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
I don't know why my screen isn't, oh, good, now it's mirroring again. Hold on. One second, guys. I'm setting, I remember setting up the computer that I'm gonna take to Argentina, and I thought it was all set up, but when I went to open it, I'm having, it's not necessarily working as easily as I thought it would work, so give me a sec, because it's a different computer. It's a different type of computer. It's Big Sur, you guys. So for those of you who have Big Sur, now I can demo that one. But okay, meanwhile, I need to let me see if this works. You should be seeing me. Okay. Let other people in. Okay. I'm having to give my camera permission. It's just that it's all different than before. 1 second, 1 second. It's funny because I was all set up, but I forgot that it was going to run differently. Okay. Let's see if you can see me now. It might be noisy for a second while I shift my sound.
Recording in
Bear with me. All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, and we can see you.
Okay, good. You can hear me and you can see me. Cool.
Yes.
Oh, we see
All
your
right.
picture. We don't see you.
I see her.
You see, you don't, oh, I guess I should turn on the light.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
That would make you see me better. Hi, can you see me now?
Yes.
Got a new cable for my headset, but it's really long. I got the
Oh
wrong
my
one.
God. Careful you
Remember, I
don't hang
couldn't-
yourself.
My headset wasn't working. Now I have it connected, but it's like 5 feet long or something. You never know what you get when you're online. Okay.
Did you find a
Um,
place to get your test? I saw that on the neighborhood blog.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, on the county health. So
Okay.
hopefully that'll work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
good to know
it's
because we
amazing
were-
how
Yeah.
small Santa Barbara is. I asked on the blog, and it's a next door, it's called, and it's like people in the neighborhood, you ask questions and say things.
Yeah.
And so I asked, where should I get tested? Because where I thought I could go. And I got lots of good answers. So
Oh, good.
that's cool.
'Cause I
Okay,
might-
so you guys go to the chat and sign in. I'm seeing a message from Lonnie. Oh, Lonnie. Had trouble learning how to start folders of folders, but the ended before that explanation. I forgot that last week, remember I had to shift at break time. I changed computer. So that means I should have put up 2 recordings and I forgot that completely. Yikes. So sorry. In fact, I'll go. That's not good. I'll have to go and put, I need to write it down. I'll have to go put the second part of last week's. So sorry for those of you who watched the recording, you only got half of it. I wish someone had emailed me because it's so easy to go and download the second part. Normally I have 1 recording and I didn't know. Oh man, that would have been so easy to put the second recording up. Okay.
Can we just review that part, that?
Yeah, we'll do that. But it was so important that I so wanted you guys to know that. I wish I'd known to put it up, but oh well, no, we'll redo it. We'll keep doing it. But so sorry that you didn't have a whole week. I mean, this is since Thursday where you could have been doing this. So that's really not good. Oh well, what can I say? I just put the recording up and it was the half of the class.
Are you in Argentina right now?
No, I'm still here. I will be in Argentina next week. So today and Thursday I'm here and then I'm flying on Saturday.
No passport resolution?
I'm
Yeah.
just the same thing. Mine's fine. I'm just gonna go with Santi as is and hope it all works. That's all I can do. Hope we get back. We can probably go. I mean, he's leaving as an Argentinian. The only question is whether they say, well, then did he come in? If there's no like obvious stamp of him coming in as an Argentinian. I don't think they say that, but anyway. At this point, you shall find out following Tuesday. Okay, so I noticed that not everyone, which you don't have to, I'm not making you, but not everyone from this class is signed in to macOS level 2. So if you do want to be in the next class, where I teach much more of all the apps that come with the computer and how to handle the cloud and all of the material and information and all of that, you definitely should sign up to that class. And let me see really quickly what that means for what would be the CRN for that is summer 2. The CRN is 8-2. Let me just put it in the chat, in the Zoom chat. Okay, guys. Oh, I turned the Zoom chat off instead of on. Here is CRN is Mac OS 10 level 2. Which is interesting because the name of the class doesn't even fit because this is not Mac OS 10 anymore. Now we're doing Mac OS without numbers. Okay. Well, it's Mac OS 11 is a number, but we don't call it that. It's the first time since the year 2000, I believe, or more that we are having.
And it's for sure a Zoom class.
Yeah, the fall schedule is out, and as usual, it's wrong. But I laugh in particular is because it hasn't been scheduled. I'm pleading to the higher ups to have them put it on. So you'll hear from me if and when they put it up. Right now, it's not up, but it's not actually available. Yeah, I just got it in the mail. And right now I'm only in 2 classes, which you guys know I always teach much more, but it's whatever. You'll have to watch for my emails for that.
In the beginning, in the front of the book, it said, yeah, we're going to start in-class sessions. And very few of them actually said online. So it's like, really? Are they going back?
Trust me, I am meeting twice a week with different groups and people and including the president. And the answer is always, well, we're doing our best. We'll see. The dictate from up high is still 40% in person, 60% online, depending on that, how things go is the constant answer. So worst case scenario, 40%, best case scenario, according to the college, would be that we can all be in person again. Not that all teachers or all students want that. So I am trying for my class to be able to be done half and half. But it's a big deal with permits and stuff like that to allow it to be half and half, where some people can be at home, some people can be in person. So right now, I'm not being very successful on that end. And I believe at this point, they would prefer mine to be in person. I am still weighing in. It's hard because you guys are all here online. So you're the ones who probably would be happy to stay online or not. Some of you would prefer to go in person, but you are the ones who came online. And then there's all the people who stopped taking classes because they never could do online, and we can't really pull them because they never came, right? So it's a hard one. I'm fine if I get half and half. Like my credit classes, I have one that's going to be in person, one online, and then my non-credits in the schedule, which right now only 2 are showing up as in person. But what I asked, I plainly said, so my students who have to sign up in July 7th, and the catalog is saying in person, will it be in person or will it be online? And the answer is, we don't know yet. So take it with that grain of salt. And don't be angry when everything changes again and again over time until the day the classes start, because I have a feeling things might keep changing. For when I say for better, for worse, depends on your point of view. What is better for worse? I'm just going to say they're going to keep changing, and we don't have much of a say on it other than, I mean, we do. We're in tons of meetings trying to have a say, but right now the school board and the school president is seeming to believe that their say is the one that matters over teachers. So we're kind of waiting. But anyway, and I'm personally fine either way. Some people really, really care, and I don't really care. I think I'll be fine either way. I'm vaccinated, and so whatever. All right. So to the matter of the day, please make sure that you have signed into the chat. And if today I only saw the first half of today's, I too only saw the first half. Oh, the recording. Yeah, I forgot. I didn't know that I didn't have the second part up. Next time, if there's a mistake like that, like really email me, because the moment you email me, I become aware, and then it's so easy for me to sign it on, but I'm not aware that my recording finishes halfway. There's no way for me to tell because I don't watch my own recordings. Okay. So that would be really helpful for you guys to point it out. Julie, your hand is up. Is that a?
Yes, I have a question.
Mhm.
I have two, actually. For some reason, I have the Zoom click allow on the dialogue on my desktop. I mean, I can't get rid of it. Can I,
The Zoom what?
you know, where it says SBCC Zoom and then it's a white screen. Let me see. It says click allow on the dialogue shown by your browser. If you don't see a dialogue, click launch meeting below. Well, I'm already in the meeting and I don't launch a meeting. Why is that there? And can I do quit Zoom? You want me to share my screen? I can't hear you.
Yes, please share your screen.
Okay. Whoops, what happened here? Oh, there we go. Can you see the screen now? I can't hear you. What is my volume's up?
We've lost your sound.
Okay, hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I was starting to talk and I guess I pressed something on this computer, which don't know, started to be helpful. Siri started explaining to me things about the launch meeting. I guess it heard your question somehow. I don't know. And I'm like, shut up, Siri, I can answer. All right. So Yeah, once you click on the meeting and say open up, which you are in the meeting, then this window is not necessary anymore. You can close it up. It's just a Safari. So you can quit all of Safari or you can click this window. You don't need
Okay.
it anymore.
And
Okay.
my next question is,
Mhm.
how do I move your pictures over here? Oops.
What pictures?
Okay, for
Mhm.
some reason, Google Chrome, this little icon showed up on my desktop.
Mhm.
Never been there before that I can remember.
That's the installer for Google Chrome. Did you just install Google or update Google or something?
Not that
Google
I
Chrome?
know of.
Okay, well, you can get rid of it. It's an installer file, so you can right click and eject.
Eject, okay,
It's an installer file. So
okay.
you're done.
Now what happened? I can't.
You
Where
can't
are
what?
you? I can't see you. What did I do? What button? did I-
Oh, because you minimized us or something. Click on the Zoom little icon again on the screen. Yeah, click on that. And if that doesn't bring us up, did that bring us up? If
No,
not, okay, then right click on that. Right click
yeah, I
and
am.
click on Zoom US now. I thought you would have a meeting there. Then let me just stop your sharing because that'll show.
Oh,
is
yeah,
that-
there you are.
There you
Okay,
go. Yeah, sometimes when you're sharing, weird things seem to
Okay.
happen.
thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, so you all had to do some work on your computers. I don't know how successfully you were able to do it, given that you weren't able to install, but to see that you weren't able to see the videos, but hopefully a lot of you guys did some of the work.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. And well, I want to reiterate the whole process of folders, and we're going to go much further than that today. But other than people who just need it reminded because they didn't see the video or they didn't remember from the class, are there questions that came up from doing the work, from those of you who did do the work? Are there any questions there that you might have that you want to ask me?
I don't have a question, but I left 3 on my screen because I have paint from those. I wanted them easily accessed, but I got all the rest moved over.
Cool. How about other people? Did everyone make at the last minute? What I showed people to do is based on, I believe, Susan's question, I had her put all of her desktop things into a folder called From the Desktop, and then move that to the Documents folder, and then from there we can organize it. I'm not sure that all of you guys were here at that point when we did that anymore, but that's a good solution, so to say, to move things and then to later decide where you want. I'm closing my other computers. I was just doing the whole running out of, I'm leaving. Oh, I can't leave that meeting. Okay, my other computer is having issues. That's all right. Okay. No big questions. How many of you, show me in the chat, how many of you moved, not moved, you had to move things the other day. How many of you guys created at least 3 folders? You had to create folders in your documents, remember? And begin to put things inside of them to reorganize. How many of you guys did at least make 3 folders and put some things in there? Woohoo! Anita says all of her folders are now organized. That's like 10 stars or something like that. And it's okay to not have done it and to have questions, but go ahead and give me a yes if you made folders. I see a couple of you guys said yes. Many folders and then many unorganized folders. That's the right space to be in right now. Something done, others not done. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to be working. Hold on. I think I need to give my computer more. I need to give my computer the rights to share this new screen. Let's go to security and privacy. share camera, Zoom is on. And this is on, then why is it not letting me share my desktop? Give me a second. Well, the right thing pops up. I have to unlock it. Okay. Oh, really? I think I can still share. Let me see if I can still share. Let me see. Yes, I can. Oh, but it's not going to record my share until I quit and start again. Oy. Okay, so this might sound weird, but can everyone, I'm going to finish the meeting before I say anything important enough that then I have to put up 2 recordings. And then can everyone join again pretty much immediately? Do you all have the link? You can go to the email and click on the link again.
Yes.
I need to give my computer permission to record my screen share. Otherwise, the whole class will have a blank and not record the screen share. Okay, so
So
I'm gonna close the meeting now, and everyone, please join pretty much right now. And you might have to wait another minute or so because I'm gonna have to do a permission thing, and then I'm.
Okay.
I think you have a second computer on.
I'm sorry, what are we doing?
They won't let me join again.
I think we're waiting for Diana to come back, and there she is on one of the computers.
She never turned that one off. I think that's the problem.
Oh, okay,
She
maybe
has a
then,
second device on.
okay, maybe then I have to leave here.
No, I think she has to end the meeting or turn off the second computer.
Actually, I left the class on in the other computer, and I think that should be enough. I didn't want to completely close it, but I think it should be work. Let me see if I can share my screen now and make sure that it allows me to. Yeah,
Good.
good. So now should be back in technically. And I can close all these permissions. Okay, so I've got a lot of windows here that you guys are. This one should be ready to go. Okay, I already gave it permission. Okay, let me let everyone else in. Okay. All right, so as everyone comes in, I'm sharing my screen right now, which is good. But that's what's needed to do. All right, so here we are in the file. Okay, so remember how I got this window? I have to go down and turn on my Finder window in one way or another. And we found that one of the easiest ways was to go down here and click on Finder. And when you do that, it will go and do something. Like some people it ends up in recent. Some of you guys said that yours went in different places. You said, oh, I'm Big Sur, it doesn't go to recents. Well, I am in Big Sur now and mine goes to recent. So we all saw that recents isn't a place. It's ordering by order of how do you call it? By order of last used kind of preference. But the places that we've been talking about are desktop documents, and downloads. And in downloads, if nothing else, there's one series of folders that I've asked you guys to hold on to not get rid of. And when I opened miscellaneous files to organize, here's a bunch of files that we were organizing just as samples, right? Now, one thing I noticed that I didn't notice before when I was not on Big Sur is that in Big Sur, if your window is big, then you get to see all of these little icons, the show icons, show as lists, show as columns. But something that's new to me that was not available, and I did not know that, is when your window is small, it collapses, and then you have to click here to show as icons or as lists or as columns, okay? And I wasn't showing that because I didn't know this was happening for you guys who are in Big Sur. So I just want to show it because when I came here and I noticed that, so that's as icons, as list, or as columns, and I've been avoiding as gallery at this point. We're just going to these three because those are the ones that everyone has. Some people in older versions don't have the as gallery. Okay, but if you make it a little bit bigger, then the same 4 icons that that I was showing you before are up there. Now notice that I don't have words here under my icons, and some people might prefer to see the words here in this window, and you don't have to, but if you prefer to see words to tell you what each little icon is, you can right click right here in this area. And oh, sorry, on this computer, my right click is not turned on. Sorry, I keep finding things this computer doesn't have, so give me a second while I turn the right click on in this computer. Okay, so if you right click, then you can see icon and text, and then over here it'll say view, group, share, back, forward, like it can give you little words under your icons. You don't have to do that, but for some people, having that kind of text under their icons is more helpful. Since it doesn't come as a given, I'm going to turn it off. And how to turn it off, I right click and then I say icon only. Okay. If you say text only, then you only see the view, share. That is way too confusing. So I'm going to go back to icon only, but I just want to show you how you can manipulate that. Okay. Did that work for you guys? Did you try the right click? Okay. So things can always be changed to look differently. All right. So these files to be organized are the ones that I had asked you to play around with to learn how to make new folders and files. So I'm going to reiterate how to do that. I know some of you already did do it. And then we're going to go into the documents and begin to reorganize things and see how you guys did with your organization and find how to put folders within folders and stuff like that. So basically, if I have a bunch of unorganized things like this, and I want to make a better organization for them. And last week we had gone in here and we had made a couple of things, like we had said files, what had we said? Photos to be organized or something like that is what we had said, remember? So let me do that. So I know there's some photos here that I want to organize. So I'm going to, if I select the folder, I want the folder to go inside of. So in this case, I want a new folder inside of miscellaneous files to be organized because I want to organize some of these, right? Then I have to select that folder. If I select the hierarchy, the new folder will be created inside of there. If this one is collapsed and I create family files example and I make a new folder now, the new folder will be inside of here. So you need to be inside of the folder that you want to create the folder in, okay? So I'm gonna open this guy in here and I'm gonna go up to the top where it says file, you see that? And then say new folder. Now, in order to say new folder with, I need to have something selected. And so I don't remember how we had first selected JPEGs last time. Right now, I don't have anything selected, so I just want to make a new folder. Oh, interestingly enough, the new folder just went to the top, not in there. Okay. So I'm going to say work or class files. I'm going to call this one class files. Right. And I want this folder to be full of files that have to do with if you as a student or me as a teacher. So here's one, how to look up your username. Remember, we had tried that one a few times. Remember that if you want to see everything it says, you go to the top. So I want to move this one here up to the class files folder, or maybe it's easier to grab this folder and bring it in to the miscellaneous files to be organized first. So I'm going to drag it here. Okay. And then this little guy here, how to look up your username, I'm going to drag into class files. If I open it, I'm beginning to put folders in there. Let me see. This is a flyer for classes. Okay, I'm going to throw that one in there too. So you see how I'm moving things into this folder? Before we had taken things all the way to downloads or documents, but now I'm moving files into folders that I've just created. Security awareness presentation. I'm going to put that one in their class files too. And flyer for social media. I'm going to put it in there. So I'm just putting things, waiting until it turns blue. But remember what I said, that if your mouse is back here, if I go right now and try to put it somewhere, I have to make sure that my mouse is touching, right? Or I'm going to drop it somewhere else. So I'm going to wait until the word class files right there gets blue. Not there, not there, not there. Go right there. And now I let go. And that's how the folder, the file went into the folder. Okay. So now I've put quite a few class files in here. Now, you could also have been doing this, and I'm going to show you now, if we do this in the mode, which is next to the list mode, which is the columns mode. So if I click here and say that you go, sorry, I'm going to downloads, right? I see only class files to download because that's the only folder I have in there. When I click on class files to download, it shows me what's inside. For many people, this might look a bit easier as a way to organize. So I'm going to show. I'm going to click on miscellaneous files to organize. So that this is inside of what's on the left. Okay, so this is what's inside of this. This is what's inside of that. So now I have my class files folder that you just saw me make. When I click on it, those 5 are inside of class files folder. The rest of them are still in the miscellaneous to be organized, right? So now I can go ahead and create a new folder. So if I select miscellaneous class files to organized, I want to create a new folder in here called, I'm going to call this one photos. So I can go back again into the Finder here, file, new folder. And a new folder happens because it's a U, so it goes all the way down to the U because it alphabetizes itself. And I'm going to call this one photos or JPEGs to be organized, right?
So it only makes the new folder in the category, like right now you're on downloads.
I am in downloads right now, but I could be in documents. I could be anywhere.
Okay,
When you make a folder, it doesn't matter. It just makes it wherever you put it.
okay.
So this is a JPEG and it's a photo. So I'm going to drag it and drop it right in there. So there we go. That's a photo. And then here's another photo. And I know because it ends up in JPEG and I'm going to go and drag it and drop it. So when it changes color, let me see. This one is a PSD, which some of you are Photoshop people and you know that that means it's a Photoshop file. So it's a photo. So I'm going to drag it and put it in there. So any JPEG I'm putting in there. So basically I'm beginning, now I have 2 main folders, the class files folder and the photos to be organized. Whenever I find a photo, I'll put it in there. Now this is a PNG. A PNG is also a graphic file. Remember that day that I described all the photos? And the PNG is, I don't remember the short, I never remember acronyms, something negative. What's it again?
Graphic.
It's a graphic file, but
Something
picture
graphic.
negative or something like that.
Oh,
Anyway, it's a file. It's an image. So I'm going to put it in photos as well. Okay. A GIF is an image and I'm going to put it in photo. If I don't know what it is, see, as I click on it, I can see here on the right in this preview mode This is what I like. In the lists mode, when you wanted to see something, you had to, remember, hit the space bar to see the preview of it in big. This is in list mode. You click and you see a space bar and you get an idea of what it is, space bar, and you get an idea of what it is. When you're in this mode, when you're in this columns mode, on the right side, when you click on something, you just see a little preview of it right there. Okay, so you don't have to be hitting the space bar. So you might like that more. Depends on your preference. Okay, so
Portable
now,
graphic,
what's up?
portable network graphic.
Portable network graphics. Okay, thank you. So here's another portable network graphic. These are graphics just for the web. That's what a PNG does. Okay, so now I put a lot of photos in there. Now I've got only this left. Now I can also click in this. If you have space left, you can click and right click and make a new folder that way. Okay, or remember how I had shown you there's some things that you can pre-select. So say that I want to create some files for work. So very important document, let's say it's for work. And I need to go and select a couple more things of these that are for work, and they are going to be not next to each other. So what should I press so that I can have things not next to each other be selected? Do you remember?
Command.
Yes, so I'm going to hold down the command key, and then I'm going to press, let me see, that license is going to be for work. And let's say the data generator, and this disk not ejected. So now 4 of these files are going to be for work, but I don't have a work folder yet. But now that I have these selected, I can click on any one of them and create a new folder with selection. Right click, or I can go up to the top and say this time new folder with selection. So it's exactly the same to do it this way, or to do a right click over here, and a new folder with 4 items will be created, and I'm going to call it work files. Okay, so now inside of work files, there it is. Then here I had some repeats. Remember, I just re-downloaded into this computer, so I still have my repeats. A lot of you guys had a lot of repeats. I'm going to select both of them by holding. What am I holding in order to select these 2? What do you think? Command if they were separate, right? But if
Shift.
they're next to each other, you could do command as well, or shift. Yeah.
Shift.
And then I'm gonna right click and move that to the trash. I also had the Zoom installer package. I was gonna move to the trash. These we had done, but I'm just doing it now because I just downloaded these. I'm going to move that to the trash. So as suddenly I have, remember, of all the files that I had before, I've got things much more organized. Now I'm gonna go view and show path bar, and view and show status bar that I didn't have them turned on yet on this computer. And now that they're turned on, they stay that way forever. Okay. All right. So I just showed you again how to make folders and how to put things inside. Now, what I didn't show you, I'm going to show you how to make another folder. And in this mode, I can right click over here. And what if I didn't give the name correctly? What if I clicked away and that's the name it stayed with? How do I change that name? Well, I can select it and then select one more time. So it's not a double click, it's a select and then one more click, and then that becomes bright. So I'm going to call this the file name is this, and I'm going to go dis, right? Which means I got it wrong. So I now have to rename it. So again, I can click one more time and that does it. Or I could have always just right click and say rename. And then I'm going to call this one family files. And I'm going to call it files only because I don't normally need to put the word files in there, but just so that we're clear. Now, family crop, I'm going to put that one in there. Or this is a presentation for family photos. I'm going to put that one in there. Or family crop, I'm going to put it in there. This was a photo, I'm going to put it in there, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe this is the manual for my camera. Maybe I want to put it in work files. Okay. My son's 3rd birthday, family files, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, just with these samples of photos that I gave you, how much more organized it is. I still have folders of things, right? and here, the files are all there. I haven't gotten rid of anything other than the installer packages, but it's becoming much easier to handle. Now, this viewed in as list view would look like this, where I've got my folder. Let me go back to list view in here. I've got my, let me go back to downloads and see these all as list view. So here I have my miscellaneous family files where I've made full folders, family files, work files, class files, and things are inside of them. Okay, work files are inside of them. So nothing has changed with how many photos I have there, how many files I have. They've just been much more organized, and I can continue going. And then there's always going to be, I have a folder always called just miscellaneous. They don't fit into any of the big files choices. Like it doesn't fit under personal files. It doesn't fit under, you know, or I have one or two of them only, and I don't really want to be making a whole folder for just 2 or 3. So I have a general miscellaneous folder in my documents that's going to do the job. Now, these files that I've organized, I don't want to keep in the downloads. These are the ones I've chosen to keep. So I can move them to my documents folder because that's where they need to live. So I'll grab the family files and I'll drag it, drop it in documents. Now, remember, if I grab it from down back here, it'll work. But when I go to downloads, it's not going to work until my mouse touches into that column and sorry, documents. I'm going to put it in documents. Okay. Now, if I wait too long, I end up in the documents. I have to go back to downloads. So I'm showing you this a few more times. And then I'm going to ask you guys to start asking me your questions, what works or what doesn't work. Now, I've put all my nicely organized folders there. So if I go to documents, that's all I have. I have class files, family files, photos to organize, work files. Zoom makes its own folder where it gives you chats and recordings and stuff. So you probably all have, I don't know if, since you're not running the thing, but I think you probably have a Zoom folder as well. You need to tell me if you do. I'm running the meeting, so I get a Zoom folder. And then for me, I have an Adobe folder that my Adobe programs have created because I'm installing Adobe like Photoshop and that thing. So there's some folders that got created for you. In this case, Adobe and Zoom got created for me by the programs. But the other 4 are the ones that I created: class files, family files, photos to be organized, work files. I go back to downloads. I have some that I don't know where to put, right? Like, what do I do with chicken stock? Well, I don't know. I want to keep it. And so I just drag it into documents, right? So this is what we did the first day. I told you, just grab some stuff and put it in documents. Just grab some stuff that you want to keep, hit space bar, look at what it is, and put it in documents. That's the first thing I told you to do. So when you get to documents, you have these loose files. So now you can say, well, this one is this one is work. So, okay, let's put it in work files. But what about this one? Oh, this one's a class file. I'll put it in class files. How about this one? I don't know where to put this one. I don't have many recipes, so I don't know. Why don't I just have a folder for just things that don't fit anywhere else? So I can come here and right click and say new folder and call miscellaneous, like, you know, or other, or, you know, you can call it whatever you prefer, you know, mixed files or something, you know, you give it the name you want. You don't need to have 3 names on it. And then some things truly don't fit easily into other things. And then I put it in there. But ideally, I won't have too many things loose. Ideally, my documents will be like this, pretty loose. Now, for those of you who had a lot of stuff in the desktop, and this is one thing that I don't have replicated here. So let me actually bring down some things to my desktop. Give me a second here.
Deanna, could you share just the window instead of your whole screen, please?
Yes, but not right now because I'm about to put some things on the desktop. Hold on.
Okay.
So let's assume that I had things in my desktop, right? So now you're seeing that because this one was clean. You didn't get to see it, but here it is. I had stuff on my desktop, right? And some people had a really hard time wanting to deal with those. So what I said is today I would show you how to do better. What I said is put everything that's in your desktop in one folder called from the desktop and put that in your documents folder. And then from there, you can decide what really needs to be back on the desktop. And today I was going to show you how to do that. So say that these were on my desktop. Some of you guys have 200 things. Some of you have 25. Some of you have 5. So I'm going to make a folder, and I can make it already in this desktop here, like we've been teaching you, or you could also just go to your desktop if you prefer working just on your desktop and create a folder right here and call it right click. Okay, same thing, right click, new folder, and call this one from okay. I can't write into my desktop. From my desktop, right? And then put all these files in there. And so I can grab them and put them in there. I can actually grab them like dragging my hand like that, clicking and dragging and grabbing a bunch of them, or one by one. So for those of you who have 5, just do it one by one. But if you have a ton of them, click somewhere neutral and start dragging your mouse, and you'll see that you can grab them all at the same time and then put them all in there. Now that needs to be, now once you've emptied your desktop and you have one big folder, then you open the window again, you go to documents, and you drag from my desktop into your documents. And now your desktop should be empty. So if I look at this way, my desktop is empty, right? And all my files have been put into my documents. Now my computer's happy. And now you might not be happy, and you might say, well, what do I do? How do I get them out? So first, let's start getting questions from people about how to get to this and where you got into problems, what help you need, from who it is working, for whom not, for whom needs to share from me to work. Let me see your questions first. And then after that, I'll, let me see. Lani tried to drag, but they didn't go. Okay, I'm going to help you with that. Leonardo, hey, you moved all your desks to documents. Wonderful. How do I see the column headers? I see date modified in documents, but not name. Okay, so you might be seeing things, you might have scrolled sideways like this, and you need to scroll back. That's one thought I have, Julie. Okay, if not, I'll have you share. But first, let me help Lani, who wrote a while ago that she wasn't able to drag, and anyone else who needs help. So I'm going to stop my share. While I'm doing this, hopefully those of you who hadn't done your work are working. And now, oh, one more thing. If you had done your work and you have these big folders, now's the time to open those big folders and say, okay, instead of just work files, maybe you start dividing them into more specific categories, different clients, or, you know, I don't know, if you do a lot of volunteering, maybe you have a folder called volunteering and you have the different nonprofit names and files. Maybe you have no files, you do volunteering, but you're not in charge of files. I'm just saying, those of you who do have files, start finding a way to sub-organize them, so that when I open my class files, maybe instead of having 10 files under class files, I can say, oh, this is my ceramics class files, this is my piano class files, this is my Mac class files, right? And you put them in sub-organizing folders. All right, so Lani? Yeah.
Yes.
So when you said you tried to drag, but you couldn't do it. So is that still so? Sometimes the things resolve themselves, but if not, yeah.
Well, I'm thinking I was really watching when you drug things, and maybe I just wasn't lining it up well enough, or.
Well, to say the truth, it's much easier if you have a mouse. Okay. So do you have a mouse or do you have a laptop?
Yeah, I have a mouse.
Okay. That's to say, because if you just have the laptop touchpad, when you speak to me, say that it's not your case, but tell me, because then, you know, I have to teach you more about your laptop. So Lani, do you want to share your screen? Let me see if I can give you a hand with,
okay.
With dragging. And then I see some hands up from Susan, and ask me your questions in the chat so that as I help Lani, I can be hearing. So Lani, when you share your screen, there's two things. You need to first click the share screen.
Yeah.
You have the other little button on the right. Yeah, the second one.
The second. Shoot, now I can't find it now. How do I
So
get
as
it?
I see some questions going in the chat, go ahead and write your questions there. So there's a second button, Lonnie, on the bottom
Yeah,
right
right.
that says share.
I can't see it now because I already put my screen up. So how do I get back to where I can see?
Hit
Share.
escape or cancel.
I got you. Oh, there it is. Okay,
Okay.
sorry.
No, that's fine. All right. So,
I liked your idea about family and because I have a lot of pictures and text, stories about like my granddaughter's mornings when I used to babysit for her. So I wanted to do I guess I'm confused about the the subfolders, but
well, let me explain a little bit. If I say, for example, a folder called family, so many things can go in there, right? That maybe what you want to do then is have subfolders, like maybe, and it depends on you, you might divide them on by person. So like,
yeah. So how do I do that?
For example, you can say, go into the folder, family, for example. So you can, yeah, what you could double click, like you had just done, or you can open with the little arrow.
Oh,
So right now you have, okay, it's empty. There's nothing in there. So for example, is Holly, I see there's something called Holly. Is Holly a family member?
yeah, she's my daughter.
Okay. So maybe you want to drag Holly into family, right?
Okay, let's try that.
So since you already have it, grab that and click and drag it up. Yeah. And wait until family changes color. There you go. Drop and let go. Perfect. Now move backwards. You can go back up to documents, or you can click on the back forward arrow at the top. Yeah. So now go to the little arrow next to family and click on that, and you'll see how Holly is in there. See
Okay,
that?
yeah,
And then I don't know, Holly picks, since there's all
Yeah.
these different Holly things, you might want to
Yeah.
move all the Holly things in there. So grab Holly picks and drag it into family
Or Holly.
or into Holly. You're right.
whoops.
Yeah, that's fine. You're in Holly. So let it drop it there.
Well,
And now back up. Now here's the thing, by doing this, she might go ahead and go backwards for a second. Go to the back again. No, that's your other
Whoops.
window. That's your Safari. Close your Safari. You don't need Safari right now.
I tried to, and then
Go
I
to
was-
Safari, quit. Go to say
I'll
Safari,
go up
quit
here, that's
Safari,
quicker.
and quit
okay.
Safari. Yeah, it's good to not have many things open when you're organizing that way.
Yeah, I
things-
tried to close it and then
So this little back and forward right there of the window itself is what I was mentioning, or you can just go back to documents. But see at the very top left of this window, there's a little back and forward as well.
yeah.
And it,
yeah.
no, top left. No, you're not there. Top,
Oh, up here.
yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
showing it to you so you can go back to where you came from.
Okay. Ah,
Okay.
okay.
So now, here's the thing, guys. She made a folder called family, a folder called Holly that she already had made that had things that, go ahead and open up or expand the folder called Holly. Go to the little arrow.
Oh, to the arrow. Oh,
And now she has a folder called Holly Picks, and then loose things, which used to be in something called Holly. So here's the thing. And then I see some other things called Holly down there. You might want to still subdivide the folders into Holly Picks, Holly Poems, Holly Photos, right?
yeah.
Like, but at this point, at least put things under Holly, and then you go and reorganize that a little bit better, right? And then
Yeah.
maybe you have another folder for your other child, daughter, grandchild, and you put it in there. Now, sometimes a child or grandchild would have to be inside of Holly, like Holly's child or something like that. You have to kind of organize the files the way that makes sense to you. But when you're done, you might only have one folder called family and documents. And under that one, you have all your different kids or all their different kids or their kids inside of their main folders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is up to you. But like, if you scroll down a little bit more, there's something else called Holly. You might want to grab it and put it. It was a few
Yeah.
there.
Like-
Holly's info, for example, I see in there.
Yeah.
Grab Holly's info And now notice, see that you dragged so far down that you don't see Holly anymore?
Yeah,
Okay, so trust me, grab it and drag it up anyway, and then put your mouse by where it says name and it'll, there we, yeah, see how it's coming down? Keep going, put it under name. There you go. And now drag it into Holly. Perfect. And now let go. So now you have 3 things, and so on and so forth. It takes some time. I'm gonna give other people give some example, help them, but there you go. Now you can go back up, go back to the back to where you came from and keep figuring out, you were mentioning there's something else there that's Holly's, so keep putting it in there and then start with something else and so on and so forth. Okay?
okay, I think
And
I have.
ask-
now.
Perfect. All right, so Susan, you had your hand up for a while. You wanna ask me?
Yeah, I had so many files. I got my desktop cleared.
Amazing.
It is amazing.
Congratulations.
I know. We had a grand celebration over this one last. My husband came in, I said, I've got a surprise for you. I mean, he couldn't believe it. So anyway, I opened the files on my desktop, and then I had so many because I had to scroll up and down, and then I would find one, and then then I would drag it over to the desktop, and then after that file is done, I can just drag it back in to the documents, right?
Yeah, there is no need to drag it to the desktop to see it, but maybe you can show me what you were doing. I can tell you how to do it differently. You never need to use the desktop at all, in fact, but you were using so much. I mean, you had hundreds of files there that might be what you've been doing, and that's why you thought that that's had to be done. So, but no, you never really need to drag anything to desktop to see it at all. So if you want to maybe share your screen and show me the process, and I can tell you, I mean, was that your question? I mean,
Yeah,
you raised your hand.
Yeah, I just thought, and what I did is then I just dragged the file back in because on my desktop, I was, I was scrolling up and down because there were so many,
Mhm.
there were so many photos and documents and
Mhm.
files and all that. So it just seemed easier
what
to.
I'm not sure why you had to move it from documents to the desktop to see it and back. That's the part that I don't
I
understand.
know, I was just dragging it into the folder.
Okay, so you were in your desktop, you were dragging them into folders that you had made on your desktop? Okay,
Yeah.
well, actually, why don't you share your screen and show me the organization? I mean, remember you guys that she had thousands of files and most of them outside of folders. So any forward progress is incredible and amazing. But on top of that, looks like she did, look, oh my God, look at your screen. Wow, that's crazy good. Congratulations. Nice.
I was just,
Now, I see lots of folders on your desktop, which is
so
so much better than before, right?
Huh?
But it's so much better than before, but
Yeah.
those folders are still on your desktop. Okay?
Well, I know, but that's what I formed last night. Well, all these folders.
No, that's huge. That's like 200 steps forward. Now, these folders need to end up in your documents. Okay?
Yeah, I know, but I thought, I can take these and bring it back in.
Exactly. But hold on. Say cancel to that for a second.
Okay.
Now, what you just tried to do was moving it back into downloads, just to warn you, but you might have just been trying to show me, but that was going into downloads, not the desktop, not the documents. So over here at the top, I'm seeing downloads, recent, deleted users, but I'm not seeing your documents folder. And that's was concerning me. Like, I don't see your desktop folder either. So, go ahead and, okay. So go to iCloud over here on the very far left where it says iCloud, you're hiding, go with your mouse to where it says under the word applications to the very far left, downloads, recents, deleted folders, keep going down to the word iCloud. Up, right there. And now on the right side say show. Somehow you have that one collapsed. Phew, there we go. So that's your desktop and documents.
Yeah.
Okay, so all these things that are on your desktop, go to the word desktop. Okay, see that stuff there on the left is identical to the stuff that you were moving around that's on the desktop visually.
Uh-huh.
See how it's the same folders, right? So now to move them from the desktop to the documents, you can just grab them from here and move them straight into documents, right? You can grab, I'm reading nature photos or Susan and Brett or whatever, just grab them and just drag them right in here. That's, grab that one and move it. So click, you were about to click on Susan and Brett, go ahead and click on it. And then you can undo it if you don't want to. Yeah, click on it and then just drag it to the left. You don't need to open it, just drag the whole folder. Put your mouse on it and no, yeah, to the and right underneath the word desktop, there's the word document. So on the left side, on the sidebar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and down there, let go. Perfect. So now
Yeah,
you've moved that.
But I'm still moving things into those files. I mean, I'm not done yet. I've got hundreds of things.
I hear you. I hear you. Hold on. But there's no need for them to be like, you're moving, you know how when you first described how you're moving out to the desktop and putting them in the folders. That's the part that I'm saying, why are you moving them to the desktop? All these files can be in your documents to be moving them. Is it because it's easier because you have so many things or?
And I just can't see, I mean, all of these things.
I see. Okay, so then I have a great trick for you so that you can, in fact, you kind of have it set up there. So everyone, you see how at the top of her window, let me see if I can use my remote. I'm going to request remote control so that I can point to some things. Can you say okay to that? It's just, I'm going to point to things. I'm not going to do things for you. Okay, so watch. So guys, can you, don't use your mouse for a minute so I can use it.
Okay.
She has something set up here that is different tabs, and you might not have noticed, but she has a tab here, a tab here, a tab here, a tab here. And I don't know if you know how to use tabs or if this is just something that happened to you. I'm gonna close these tabs for a second by clicking on this little X there. So I close the tab and I close that tab and I close this tab. Okay. So now I know that it's hard to see. In fact, I'm going to move it up a little bit bigger for even me to see better. Okay. So this is the typical window with when you click on documents, you see the documents, which she has many loose documents, right? And then here she has desktop and she has her folders on her desktop. So she thought it was easier, and it's a very good reasoning, that to go to the documents and say this one belongs to one of these folders. So she grabbed it from here and dragged it into one of these folders, right? So, I mean, it's a good thought. But in reality, what you're doing is you're moving things from your documents folder to your desktop, which is where I'm saying don't put things because that hurts your functioning of your computer. So how do you do that easier? So I'm going to show you. Make this window a little bit smaller. So guys, this is something for everyone, okay? Not for her, but of course, especially for anyone who has a lot of stuff. And then you open another window. Okay, so I'm going to go back up here and open a new Finder window. So now there's two Finder windows, right? So you have this one, which is, if you actually put these and have them hit the sides, like if I grab this one, it's kind of interesting, and have it like touch the side. I don't have it set up. I can't do it in remote control. So anyway, I have two Finder windows. See what I'm doing, you guys?
Yeah.
Now, I can put the stuff on her desktop in one, her documents in the other. So you move from window to window, right? Instead of using the desktop. Now, by that same token, you can have all of her Argazena shopping inside of the documents folder. So what do I mean by that? You can have all of her stuff that's in her documents, every single one of them, in one folder, and then organize from there. So I'm going to do this, and then we can undo it all if you want. But every single thing, guys, every single thing that's in her documents, see how here on the left side, I'm in her documents folder. How many, can you read the number down there? It's like
657.
657. I'm going to put every single thing that's here in one folder. Okay. Every single thing. And it's kind of like, you're going to go, wait, is it? Let me just trust me. So I'm going to say select all. Okay. And how do I do that? I'm going to do Command A or Control A. So see every single thing, even what I don't see now has been selected. Otherwise I can only select what I can see by Control or Command A. Every single thing has been selected. And now I'm going to make a new folder with 657 items and call this one. And it's a lot of stuff, so it's going to take a while to be created. So let's give it a minute, especially because this is truly actually online. This is really in the cloud. Her desktop, her documents are in the cloud. So it's going to take a little while, but it's going to make one folder. And especially because I'm doing it Zoom, there it is. An item. Can you read that to me? I can't.
Already exists in this location. Do you want to replace it with the one you're moving?
An item name, I'm gonna skip because I don't want to replace anything because I don't know. You seem to have a duplicate there, so I'm gonna say skip to that. I changed glasses. So new folder with, so this is like items from documents to organize, for example, right? It's a long name. So now all the 600 and something elements are in one folder. Got it? So if you go to your documents folder right now, you only have one folder. Okay.
Thank you, Diane. You just saved me about a year's worth of work.
Now,
I don't look at them anymore.
that doesn't mean much because if you open it, you still have 600 and right. But anyway.
Right. But now I don't.
But it's fine. Now we can move all of these into your documents to make your computer work better. And you'll have to just trust me when I say this. And then you organize from documents into documents, and you don't have all of this weighing down on your desktop, which is what makes your computer begin to have problems. So if you trust me, I'm going to move all the desktop stuff, every single bit of your desktop stuff. All of this you can undo with 3 clicks if you don't like what I've done. So nothing I'm doing is eternal. From desktop to documents, I'm going to move everything right there. So now, if you look at your desktop, it's finally empty. But it's not just empty of folders, it's empty of the hundreds of files you had in those folders, right? So how do you keep working now? Like this. Here, you can be viewing all the same files you had before, right? And then here on the left side, you can be working on items to organize. So I kind of like I'm going to put a little space in front of the name. Why? So it pops to the top because by alphabetical order, now it's A through Z, but the space that I put in front makes this go to the top, right? So now you open this folder and you have the exact same thing you had before, all your documents, and yet you have your folders and everything is in documents. Your desktop is empty. Your computer begins to function. It begins to breathe. And now you go from this place to this place. So say that you go, I don't know, transformation matrix. If you know where that goes, you grab it from here and you drag it into wherever it goes. And wherever you let it go, it goes. I'm going to leave it back because I don't know where it goes. But you start going from here to here, from here to here. You can even make them smaller so you don't have that much need to drag from so long. But you just drag them from place to place. Or if you trust, because before you couldn't move, I totally get that. But now you have things in here that you just drag quickly into there. At some point, it'll clarify enough that you can go back to just having one thing. But this is your documents folder right now. Everything you made plus 600 are still in there, ready. And here I have that folder opened up, see? So from here to here, from here to here. Now, if you hate that, bear with me, hang on to this during class. If you hate what this happened, I can undo it all for you again, but see if you can do it this way and avoid. And then things that you truly want on your desktop, I'm going to keep talking to the rest of the class, and I'm going to teach you what of that stuff do you really need on your desktop, and then you can choose what you pull out again. Okay, I'm stopping your sharing.
Diana?
Couldn't I?
Well,
just-
Hold on.
Uh,
Can you ask, hold on, Yolanda, can you say that again, Susan? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, when I was done dragging all those things into files onto my desktop, can I just take those desktop folders and drag them back into my documents?
You can, but there's no need if you have two windows open inside of your documents. Like, there's no need to have anything on. As every time you put stuff on your desktop, especially photos and stuff, your computer starts groaning. So why bother? Leave your desktops empty, because
Okay.
it needs that space to work for some. And then just have two window finder windows open and just drag from one to the next inside of your documents.
Okay, I mean, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah. Now, I'm
thank you.
getting a lot of questions from other people, so I'm going to start reading your questions. And I want to start dealing with that. Now, how do I see the columns, headers? I see modified in documents, but not named. Did working it to the side, Julie, help you or not at all?
Yes, I did. I put it in chat. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. That was easy.
All right, then Leon, when I moved to Pix, it asked if I wanted to remove from iCloud, so I canceled. Yeah, so we need to talk more about that.
There-
I need,
Like 3 paragraphs, because I copied it exactly how they said it when I see it down there, correct?
yeah, so when you moved what to Pix, and what is Pix? Like, you have a folder called Pix?
No, I have, it's called IMG JPG.
Okay, so you tried to move it to where?
Pictures, because that's my only choice.
Did you make a folder called Pictures, is what I'm saying?
No.
Do you have a folder called Pictures?
Rather not make folders. I would rather go right into that left-hand column. Is that not the
The
right?
photos app. Go ahead and share your screen, because I don't know what you're moving to what when you got that message. So I need to see what you're talking about, and then I'll understand. Okay. So on the left side, you do have a folder called Pictures, which is the one that came with your computer now. So
Yeah.
look, you guys, 90% of you don't have these folders here because you've had your computers from a shorter time and you only see desktop downloads, applications. But Leon's had his computers for quite a while. And as you keep changing from computer to computer, you grandparent in all the old folders. And a long time ago, people could see on the left a folder called Pictures and Music and Movies. This is from a long time ago. Now you don't see that folder called Pictures anymore. Okay. So I just want to be clear. So this question will apply, so to say, only to majorly to Leon. But okay. So tell me now what you were trying to move. You know what? This thing on the back that says allow dialog box show by your browser, close that. That's your Safari. We don't need that. Can you close in the back? Click on that. Yeah. No, don't minimize it. Close it. You do not need, look at all the Safari windows you have at the bottom open. All of that also is unnecessary. Quit Safari for now, which we don't need. Go to the Safari icon. When you open Safari again, all those windows will open up again. So quit that. The one thing that slows your computers the most is to have many Safari windows open.
Mac
and
is doing, they're trying to deal with it, but I don't have time. I spend an hour to 2 on the phone with those guys every day. So
all right.
that's another whole story, but
Okay, so you're trying to, you have files here in Pictures, okay?
no, I gotta go back. I don't know what happened.
You
Okay,
had some stuff.
so there. And then, so this is all the stuff that was from the desktop. And
Yeah.
I would rather not do what Susan did. I would rather not have a dozen blue, I'm not a file.
I see what happened. You've got, this stuff is in your desktop. Now, your desktop is on the cloud, okay?
Yeah,
So when you tried to move something off the desktop into your Pictures folder, it's warning you, you're taking it off the cloud. Cancel that for a second and let me explain it. Say cancel. Okay, now the Pictures folder that you see there on the left is not on the cloud. It's on your computer. So when you're putting something that's in your documents folder into the pictures folder, you're taking it off the cloud and the computer's warning you about that. Do you want to do that? And so that's why you're getting that message. Now, most people now don't have access to their pictures folder anymore, and thus it's not a place that people should be putting anything in, but you probably have a lot of stuff in there. Click on your pictures folder. Click on it so that I can see it.
Putting it, I mean, you know.
Click on it, click on it. Okay. So you have 347 items in there and probably more because I see lots of folders. Okay. So this is nowadays, all this stuff would be on your documents folder, in a folder called pictures that you don't want into your Photos app. 99% of these photos, if they are photos you want to keep, should be in your Photos app, which would not end up loose like this. Okay. So remember the iLife class that I'm trying to get you guys to take in the fall, that I'm trying to get them to set up.
Yeah.
All of these files, if they are photos, JPEGs, right? You have PDFs here. PDFs aren't photos. Even if they show a photo, they wouldn't go into your app. But the Photos app, the one that on your doc looks like a big flower there, that's where you should put any photos that you want to actually keep. And then these 347 plus, because there's folders, you can get rid of, and they would live inside of the Photos app. All right. Now, I can't ask you to do that until you understand more of the Photos app. But what I can explain to you is that if you're trying to put anything from the desktop or the documents onto the pictures folder, you're basically taking it out of the cloud, because this pictures folder that you see there on the left is now not available for people anymore to use. Pictures, nor music, nor movies. They've gotten rid of these from the doc. People can't put things in here anymore. And now you put everything on your documents. And that way it stays in the cloud if your stuff is in the cloud. Now, all of this you can leave here, but don't keep, but you got to make a choice. What kind of pictures did you have that you were moving? The ones that you were trying to move, go back to your desktop. The ones that you were trying to move here, what kind of photos were they? You had them in your documents. You had them in your documents. You had something here that was from my desktop. Okay, so you had that. That's an image. So can you do a tab on your, oh, you didn't need to open it? Okay, you double click to open it. So it's opening up in preview. Go ahead and close preview. Close the file. Yeah. And then go up to preview and close preview. Go to preview and say close preview. Let's quit preview. Okay. So now to just see this one, just hit your space bar. Don't double click, hit your space bar. It doesn't open up and it just shows you what it is. Okay. Is this a photo that you want to keep forever, that you love?
Forever.
Okay. So then space bar again. And what you do with photos you want to keep, this is for everyone, guys. You drag them to your Photos app. So see how in your doc you have your Photos app?
Yeah.
Grab that photo and drag it and put it in your Photos app. Let go of your mouse. And then your Photos app absorbs it. So if you go to your library, you'll see it. It's in there. Now, here's
I had no idea that pictures over here was any different than photos down here in the dock. I mean, I just thought it was just another way to say the same thing.
Nope, it's not. Any photo you want to see in here has to be in the Photos app. If not, it's just a file on your computer that you won't see again. Okay. So now if you want to see the photo that you just put in there, go ahead. I mean, go up to the very top where it says days, at the very, very, very top where it says, actually, you just imported it. Go to the left side where it says imports, and so see how it just got imported on June right there? Okay, so there it is. It's the last photo you imported. Now go back to whatever we're seeing here on the right. Oh, it's your email. hide your email. It's easier to help you if you don't have 20 windows, plus for everyone else to understand. Can you hide your email or close your email? Otherwise, it's very hard for. Say, I'm hearing someone's answering machine or something. Can you all stop it?
I have a little bit of orange paper left.
Okay.
So would you give me a call? Let me know when.
Okay, I'm gonna have to mute everyone. Someone's message is.
687-548.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
it's over. I don't have the control here. I didn't have the control here to mute everyone, so I didn't, but everyone who just heard that message, we all heard it. You who had a phone machine message popping up, please mute yourself in the future when you have sounds like that. Okay, so guys, now here's the only problem that I want to show, and this is, you might have to review this portion again and again, and then we're gonna take a break. I know some of you need to go for a break. He put that photo, see how it's still selected, image 8023? He dragged it into his Photos app. So now it's in Photos app. See there? It's in his Photos app. So now this is the one and only time that you've created a duplicate. You don't need that one anymore. Now right click on that photo and say delete. Remove, say, move to trash, not delete. Up there, move to trash.
So
Say,
before I do that, how come it didn't come up and say, are you, something about removing from the iCloud drive?
it hasn't, you haven't removed it yet. If you move it to trash, it might say that.
Oh. So the permanent one is in Photos and that's a safe place to be. And
Yeah.
it's still gonna be in iCloud too, after I move this to trash?
No, you don't want it twice. It's going to be in the cloud, but inside your Photos app now.
So now it's in
Not as
Photos and it's still in the cloud.
If your photos are in the cloud, yes. And I guess we can check. Let's go to your system preferences and let me double check. Go to the system preferences. And go to your iCloud, Apple ID up at the top. I just could have checked from the phone. There's my snooze. iCloud Drive Photos is on, yes. So no, right there, photo. No, not that. But the Photos has a check mark on it. So your photos are on the cloud. So yeah. So there you go. Okay. So so now any of these photos that you like, so let's go and click on the 4932, which is that one. Hit the space bar to see it. Do you want it?
Yeah.
And I'm not questioning as in, do you want it? But if that's what you want, okay, then hit the space bar again and drag it to the Photos app. Drag it in to the left. No, Photos app is not that. That's your Safari or Chrome. Close that, quit, say quit, from quit. Your Photos app is the flowery one there. Yeah, move your mouse to the mouse has to touch the icon, not the name. Okay. There you go. Move it. No. Yeah, it didn't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, move it and don't let go until I tell you. Drag it down. And now move your mouse a bit to the right. Move your mouse to the right. Move to the right, your mouse. There you go. Now you let go. The photo, because you held it there for a long time instead of letting go, it kind of opened your thing and didn't go in there. So yeah, let go. Perfect. Now, would you like to duplicate? Oh, because you already had it. So I would say no, don't import. Good. Now you know that you already had it. So now right click and trash.
I don't have my PhD in dragging. It's never been my.
That's fine. Move to trash. All right. And so on and so forth. So whenever it's a photo or a video, you can put it in. I'm not sure. Can you drag in an MP4? I think you can. Try dragging it in and let's see if it drags in. But this is what important that I want to teach you guys. Hit the space bar again so it goes down. Hit the space bar again.
That's me at the Comedy Store.
Hit the space bar.
6 minutes.
Hit the space. Leon.
If I drag that right now into that photos, does it
Hit the
got
space
nowhere to
bar.
go? Is
Leon.
there a video section?
Leon. Hit the space bar so it stops playing. Thank you. I couldn't hear you over it. You got to hit the space bar again to get it to stop playing.
Oh,
I couldn't hear you. All right.
So
So,
if I
yes.
drag it now, am I okay doing that?
Yeah. Yeah, let go.
Right.
Let go, let go, let go quickly. You need to let go. And there it is.
Wow.
See, it's been imported. Now you can go and delete it. Okay. All right. So what I'm showing Leon is really important. So I'm showing everyone. This is how you get rid of stuff from your computer. If you don't delete it after putting it in the Photos app, then you have it twice. Then you created a duplicate of your video. So if you put it in there, you need to then delete it from your computer. If you decide, oh, I like this, but it's not so important to keep in my Photos app, and I just kind of want to keep it, then that's when you would make a folder of photos to keep that I don't really want to have in my Photos app because I don't really care about them, or you just delete it. Okay. I'm going to let you keep working at this while I stop your sharing because so many other people have questions and I do want to give you all a break. Let me just run quickly through the questions to see if there's something I need to address immediately or if I can address the rest after questions, after
Thank
break.
you, Deanna.
You're welcome. Vicky, if I delete a file from my desktop that is also on my tab, will it delete from there also?
I think I meant my doc. Well, what it is that I've got two icons, one's numbers and one's pages, and they are on
Yeah.
my doc. They're
Yeah.
also in my desk, but I want to get them off. But I don't want to delete them if I.
Yeah, if you if you drag them off your dock, that's an application. It won't delete the application. It just gets off your dock. So that's fine. And then whenever you want that application. I have a link to my Gmail on my desktop and I want it in my dock. How? Okay, so that's the kind of stuff I'll answer after break. What do we want back on the desktop or on our dock? Okay, so if you can hang in there, Debbie, I know it was hard for you to get on, but hang on a little bit. You mentioned using alias folders for the okay, yeah, I'll be talking about that, Marie, about the stuff I want to access all the time. Leslie, how do I enlarge the screen you are demonstrated on when screen sharing? You go up, now I'm not sharing, but when someone is sharing, you go up to the right of the thing that says you are viewing Diana Masakio's screen. And then it says view options, and there you choose to view 50%, 100%. Okay, but I'm not sharing right now, so you can't see that. So next time I'm sharing, I'll remind you again. Lonnie, my files are backwards. How to go from A to Z, not Z to A. Click on the word name again, and then it shifts from A to Z. Click on the name again to Z to A. Click on the name again, A to Z, and so on. Every time you click the word name, it switches what order they're in. I have photo issues as well. Please room for me in your iLife cloud. Yeah. Will the cloud tell me if it is a dupe? Well, the photos, if it's a file, it tells you it's a dupe. If it's a photos, no. So I'm not sure what your question is, Bill. Can you be a bit clearer?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you said.
No, I'm just talking, I just, in your recent example, when you're dragging things from that you think you want to put in the cloud, will the cloud tell you if it's a duplicate, if you already have it?
Yeah, yes, but be careful. It will tell you it's a duplicate. Remember it said that for a second in Susan's, but the thing is, it doesn't, it just knows, say that you have a file named, I don't know, a file named Holly's Wedding. If you have another file named Holly's Wedding, it'll tell you there's a duplicate. The problem is that you might have called two different things Holly's Wedding. So you don't want to replace unless you first check that it is the same file, because maybe you renamed two things with the same name and it doesn't allow you to have the same name on two, and they might not be the same thing. So the computer will say, you already have something renamed Holly's Wedding, which is what happened with Susan. And it said, do you want to replace? And I said, no, because I don't know if she has the same things in one or in the other. So you just need to check that first before you replace. Or if you're sure it is exactly the same thing, then you go sure. And then you end up with only one of them. Okay. So, but be careful, because if it's your mistake, because you renamed two different things, the same thing, then the computer will get rid of one of them and you don't know which one. So you always double check before you let the computer do something automatically. Let me just run through the only questions I haven't answered are the ones about how to bring things back onto the dock or back onto the desktop, because I'll do that after break. I want to give us the break. Let me see. My question is regarding the folder you created on Susan. Okay, and then I set up a folder in documents titled photographs in which all my hundreds are in separate folders by subject. Is this a reasonable setup? Okay, so the first to Yolanda. So what's your question regarding the folder I created on Susan?
Okay, so I watched very carefully what you were doing on Susan's, and I could not imitate it because then I will lose my thought. And I saw you said you created a folder, which eventually you titled items to be organized, and then you dragged all the documents in that folder and the ones on the desktop on that folder. So my question then, so that she will only be organizing it from one folder.
No, let me correct you. No, almost what you said is right, but no. All the 600 or so items I did put into something called items to be organized, but all the stuff on the desktop, I put at the same level as that one, but not in that folder. I put them on the documents folder next to the folder called items to be organized from my documents. So they are separate folders. And now from the items to be organized, she needs to populate all those folders she created. Maybe she'll end up creating more, right? But they're not in that one folder. It's not in the same folder.
So my question then is that when you created that folder, when you right click create folder, where did you drop it? Where was it? Because in other words, did you put it somewhere in the middle of the documents or somewhere on one side? I mean, I saw it when you click a space so that it will be on top, but before it went on top,
it
where
was
the folder?
first it just showed up of alphabetical order. So I had called it items to organize. So it was an I. So it just self-selected itself wherever the I would have fallen. So then I put a little space in front of the I so that it would pop up to the top.
Yeah,
but at first it was in between them by alphabetical order.
But my question is, where was that folder before? Where were you holding it? Was it still being held on the like I have this and I haven't, I had click on the create a folder. Where was that folder that
I created a folder on the basic documents folder. At the top level of the documents folder, I created a new folder called items to be organized, and everything that was in the documents ended up in there. So it was like a first level folder called items to be organized. And it was alone in the documents folder. Then I grabbed all the stuff she made in her desktop and dragged it into documents. And so then there were like 7 folders now in documents. And the items to be organized was an I, and it was underneath folders with A or with B because alphabetical, and that's why it showed up in the middle. So I gave it a little space for it to pop up to the top so that she knows that from there things need to populate the rest. But they're all, it was the one folder. I put every single thing she had in her documents folder in that one thing called items to be organized, which I know your computer is very similar to hers. It has a lot of stuff. So that's a really good solution. When you kind of have way too much stuff, just put it in a folder called organize these things. And then everything else you begin to create folders for, and you drag from there into the rest, from there into the rest. And I can show another example later. Right now, if you want, maybe at the end, I can help you with yours to do something like that.
Thank you.
The only other quick question, how do you cancel something sent to the trash? You open your trash and you take it out of the trash again. You just drag it back to where it was, or you right click on it and say put back. Okay, so I'm going to share that. I'll show that really quickly because things might be happening to you guys like this. So say that I sent this thing to the trash. Say I moved to trash, right? Then how do I bring it back? I have to open my trash. So I need to share my entire window now. I have to go to the trash down here on the icon, open it up. And then this, which I wanted to actually have, I didn't mean to trash it. I right click and I say put back, or I can just drag it back into documents if I want, right? So either way, but right now I'm going to say just put back and it goes back in. Okay. So if it's in the trash and you don't want it, you put it back.
Okay.
And
thanks.
then, all right. Okay, guys, let's take a break. it's 3:06. Let's take 15 minutes until let me see, 3:06 is 20.
21.
There we go. Break until 3:21. Okay. Leon and Vicky, if your hands are up because you have a new question, that's fine. Leave them up. But if not, bring them down. And I'll see you all guys in 15 minutes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Bye.
fine.
Hello?
Hello, yes, my name is Veronica calling from Folklore Radiology, calling for Marie Moriro.
Who is this?
This is for Folklore Radiology.
Okay, please speak more. Okay, please take your time and speak more slowly, okay? So yes, this,
From Folklore Radiology.
yes,
You
this
need
is,
to mute yourself. You need to mute yourself. We're all hearing it.
thank you, I will. Hang on. Oh.
Okay.
All right. Oops, I can't see. My glasses got dirty. Okay, everyone, come on back. Oops. Here we go. All right. All right. So there were two questions about putting things back and how they could be available. So I'm going to show you that. But first, I want
Diana,
to.
before you go on, can you show me how to enlarge your screen shares? Because I can't see, so I'm missing a lot of the class.
Well, I'm not sharing my screen right now. So when you said that,
Okay, but when you do, would you do that for me, please?
Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Thank you.
Okay, now see at the top where it says you are viewing Diana Musako's screen. You see, if you move your mouse, you should see something that says now you are viewing Diana Musako's screen. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, to the right, it says view options.
I don't see where it says view options on what you're doing now.
Do you see you are viewing Diana Musako's screen on green?
Yes.
Okay, when the word ends, black, green ends in black, it says view options to the right of a continuation.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
And that's where you can zoom up or in.
All
or
right.
out.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And there we go. Okay. So I believe that every time I share my screen, if you choose to see it zoomed in, it should, that choice should stay. You don't, I think, because I don't do that myself because I'm sharing my screen. I think you don't need to keep choosing to share it bigger. I think it always chooses, it stays bigger. Right? Anyone else who does that? It stays bigger once you choose that?
Yeah, I do it at 50% and stays.
But and it stays. Okay. So once you make that choice, it should stay bigger. Okay. So, how many of you were successful in creating folders within folders? And what I mean by that, and now I am going to share my screen. Folders within folders would be, for example, here in my downloads, I give you the examples of family files. Then you have a folder for dad, for mom, for daughter. Kind of what Susan did on her desktop. She made, 7 folders. I'm not actually, I don't know if that's a good example or not, but what I did with Lonnie, where she had a folder called Holly, and then inside of that, she had a folder with Holly's pics and Holly's info, or I don't remember what the other one was, right? So you put folders inside of those. And then even inside of those, you have more folders, right? To keep dividing things to make them easier and easier to find. How many of you guys did any of that work? Give me a raise your hands. Not visually. It's harder on this small computer that I'm using now to do it. If you just raise your hands visually, I'm not seeing all of you guys. I see only half of the class at a time. I have to keep switching. So raise a virtual hand. Okay, great. So that's about 5 of you, 6 of you, or 7. I guess Vera said yes instead of raising her hands. Okay. So the rest of you guys, did you not do it, or do you need help doing it, or you haven't gotten there yet? If you have like questions about it. Well, I do know that Leon had folders within his folders, but I'm not sure if you did them this time or if it's something you had from before. Okay. So what system are you guys choosing to use? I'm gonna see if I can clean your feedback. And now, what system are you guys using? Are you viewing things as lists more or as columns to do your organizing? Just out of curiosity, this is at lists, okay?
List.
And this is as columns where you see it this way. So go ahead in the chat and write lists or columns. just for me to be aware of what you're choosing to do more. And Al, you asked me something?
Yeah, on my desktop, I've got everything gone. And there's one icon left and it says Backup Plus. And I have never been able to get rid of that. I don't know what, I know I've got backups and I've got them elsewhere, but it's on the desktop and I don't know how to get it off the desktop.
Okay, so that's a great question, and let me explain. I do not have on this computer anything. Let me share my screen now. And if you look at this screen, this is my entire desktop that I'm sharing now. And do you see how I do not have here anything? Like if I look at my desktop folder here, it's empty, fully empty. But on my desktop here, I have nothing either. Now, for some of you who moved all your files already to your documents folder, and if you look at your desktop here, it looks blank, which is perfect. It's what you want. You might still see some things on your desktop. And you might wonder, what are those things? So let me share from my other computer now, where I do not have things on my desktop either, but I do have, you see these guys? They're, oh.
Yeah,
No, it's showing the wrong.
I have the same thing like this.
It's not showing them. Hold on. Oh, because I'm viewing, I have a
I can see them.
Yeah. I was just looking at
Hard
it. from a different
drives.
perspective. So see these guys, hard drives? So if you
Yeah,
have one
they're
that
hard
says backup, these things don't show up though. If I go to my desktop,
Yeah.
my desktop is completely empty. Sorry, this is a computer that I have too full, and so it's not. But see, my desktop window shows as empty.
Right.
Yet I have these things here on my hard drive, and that's because these are things that I've connected with a plug, with a cable to my computer. They're not files or folders. So it's letting me know that this hard drive, which is doing backups, is connected to my computer, and so is this one, and so is this one, and so on and so forth. Okay, these are my 6 drives that I have connected to my computer. These do not show up on the desktop. As desktop show us files and folders, not connected drives. Okay, if I actually look here at locations, it does show me all my connected drives that I have full of other stuff, but not as a file or a folder. Now, I had a couple of questions in an email. I'm glad you asked that, because I just want to explain. I think maybe Leslie and some other people have made this comment that I'm about to make, where there's a questions about and how you talk about things. I can tell that there's a confusion about files or folders. I don't see, Leslie, are you here? I don't.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. So what's important is for you to know that in the real world, we call these things that look like this, we call them files, meaning this little blue icon, right? We used to usually have them manila colored. I'm looking here at an example that I have right next to me. Hold on. I had one right next to me, and right now, okay, here we go. It's a bit of a fancy colored one, but it still works. So I'm going to stop my share for a second so you can look at my picture. So in the real world, and the colors are a little bit weird, but you have this kind of thing, right? Which we tend to call, it's not manila colored, it's a fancy one, but you see the shape? This is what usually we open up and we put something inside of it, right? So what would you call this? A file or a folder in real life? In real life?
It's a
Some
folder.
people, most of them, people call them folders. How about when these go into one of these hanging, what do we call these? Hanging what?
Folder.
File. Files. In real life, we call these hanging files.
Oh,
And this is where it gets confusing, because in the computer, these folders that hold actual files. So say that this is an invitation to a wedding, it's an actual thing, it's an actual file. If I put it in here, or maybe it's a bill, my electricity payment, if I put it there, I am filing it, right? I'm filing it into my folder. You guys do you see my little example on the picture? I'm putting it into a folder. But then maybe we have many of these in one of these, which in the real world, we call these guys files, but in the computer, they're just folders. Folders within folders. Folders hold things. Files, on the other hand, in the world of computers, is the final piece. It's that wedding invitation. It's that flyer. It's that photo. It's that document from your lawyer. That is a file. And these are folders within folders. Does that make sense? So it's the only place where the vocabulary becomes confusing, because especially in the questions, some people in emails were talking about files and stuff like that, as if, you know,
Diana?
as in the real world. But we only talk folders. Let me finish for a second, Leon.
Right.
In the computer, when we say a folder, it's all the things that hold stuff. They are nothing but holders. You just organize. There's like, you buy a ton of different boxes and you organize your stuff. That's all folders are. They don't have any significance other than a holder, a container for the things that do have significance, the actual files that you put in there, the photos, the letter to your daughter, the poems, whatever it is that you're making, that is the file that goes into a folder, that is just so that we don't have hundreds and thousands of disorganized loose files, stacks of papers on our desk. We put them in neatly organized folders. Okay, that's just something I wanted to clarify. So Leon, what was your question or comment?
Not me, it was Al.
Oh,
Yeah.
Al.
I'm used to thinking of those. You have one folder and then you have numerous subfolders.
Yeah, subfolders. Subfolders or folders that are within one folder, but they're all called folders.
Yeah.
In real life, maybe that folder that holds all those subfolders might have been called a hanging file. Here, there's
Yeah.
still folders and subfolders. Other ways that we tend to talk about things in the computer is, let me share my screen again here. We have this method of thinking that files, let me just move, there we go. We have this hierarchical system. So in the files that I have shared with you in the downloads, in the class files to downloads, I showed you the hierarchy. We tend to talk about levels. You know, so things are in different levels. And let me just go back. Another way to talk about this, and some of you guys might think this is funny, but it is the parent folder, the child folder. These would be sibling folders because they're at the same level. This is the parent or the grandparent, okay? And this would be the child. So whatever way you call them, it's subfolders is what Al is saying. Then this is the main folder. Well, not really, because dad is also a subfolder of family, but health is a subfolder of dad. So basically it's folders within folders, and then boom, you get to the actual file, which is the actual Word file with insurance information. Okay, so that's the file, and that's just the organizational structure of folders. And I always say, imagine again, your drawer in the kitchen that holds your, so you have a drawer, you have a kitchen with cabinets. That's the second one, is the cabinets. In those cabinets, you have a drawer, and those drawers, you have the actual pots and pans, right? And these are holders within holders within holders of your stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You could still have the pot and pan, but have it loose next to your shoes and next to the butter. It would be a mess. You have lots of different holders in your house to hold different things. Same in your computer. You sub-organize, some more than others, some more. Some are really persnickety and have 250 subfolders, and some people know that, oh, okay, 5 main folders is fine and a couple of subfolders is fine. Some of you, that's all you need. Is that pretty clear, how we store things and the hierarchical level of it? of subfolders, grandparent through down to child or stuff like that. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, don't remember how I started with that. I was asking you how, if you guys had created them. And then I started explaining why we stuff things that way, but I think there was an actual question I was answering. I can't remember. Oh, I think you mentioned that you called them subfolders when I was trying to explain. Okay, so that's where it came from. So I guess that is answered. And then you can have, as in this example, empty folders, because maybe you set up your taxes for the new year. So maybe I've got my folders ready and set up for 2022, but I haven't yet created any expenses or receipts or invoices for 2022. So it's just the structure is ready to go. And I yet have to create or put anything in it, but the structure is ready so that when I do get an invoice for something that I buy in 2022, it'll pop in there. When I do have expenses, it'll pop in there. So I've just preset the structure. Okay. And vice versa. Most of you guys are working backwards. There you have a bunch of loose files, which is this example, and you are trying to get them organized, which is, miscellaneous files to organize. I'm left with 3 by now, kind of like the 600 that that Susan has now. Now she probably had 900 and she's organized 3 already, and now she has 600 left or something like that. Okay, there's many of you guys who have a lot of files like that, and many of you guys who don't have any. Depends on what you create or don't create with your computer. Okay, now one confusion or question you guys haven't asked, but that tends to come up is none of these are emails. This is not emails. This is files that you've created or files that you've downloaded. So maybe you downloaded from me a handout, or you've downloaded from another teacher handout, or you've downloaded from the camera manufacturer the manual, or from somewhere a recipe. So either you created it or someone sent you something that didn't stay in the email. You've chosen to download it. So that thing that you downloaded turns into a file that now needs to be organized. Okay, so how do you download things? Well, when you download things, by default, they go into the internet. So I'm going to share a different screen. I'm going to share my whole screen right now. I'm going to have us close this window for a little bit. So close the Finder window. And let's go ahead and you guys already downloaded something from the internet because you downloaded the class files, right? And where did they end up? They ended up in
Documents folder.
in the documents folder, right? Yeah,
Downloads. Yep.
they did, right? So now what we're going to do next is actually, I'm going to ask you guys in next class, macOS level 2 will really understand how to use all of the school email, not school email, the cloud and mail, calendar, all the things that are part of the computer. But right now, all I want us to do is I want us to go ahead and download something that I have sent you. Okay, so give me a second here while I make sure. I'm going to send it to myself too, because I sent it to you guys, but not to everyone else. Hold on. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to I'm sorry, I put him somewhere else and that confused me. Okay. Oh, that's a bad one. Never mind. Okay, so if you all go to your emails right now. So your pipeline email. How do you get to your pipeline email right now? If you need to get email from me, whichever way you do it, how do you do it?
Go to
Down to the
Safari
dot.
email and then just click on alphabetic pipeline dot
Mhm.
SBCU.
Good. So I'm going to teach you how to get it from this mail app right here. But right now, if you don't do it, if you do it that way, I already know how to do it. But for the rest of you, I'm going to open. I'm just going to open a browser window here, Safari. Okay. So everyone go ahead and open. I have things open already. That's why it's showing up that way. Let me start from zero. Go to sbcc.edu. Okay, so if you haven't yet, go to sbcc.edu. We're going to download some stuff onto your computer. This is the way things enter our computer 99% of the time. Okay, so sbcc.edu, click on pipeline, the P for pipeline. By the way, Leslie, this is the answer to your question of how to get to the files and stuff that I have. You go to pipeline, you click in your username. Now, oh, this computer allows me to use my finger, which is kind of cute. You put in your password, you log in. And many of you, I have been sending you things to both your personal and your pipeline emails, because many of you still haven't adopted checking your pipeline emails. I'm going to work with that on next session, meaning macOS level 2. We're going to get really comfy with how to use your computer to get emails from wherever, pipeline or Gmail or everything. But over here, when you're in your pipeline account, see this little word email at the very top. Let me see if I put a little spotlight on my mouse because you might not be seeing it. Oh, the first time I do it, I need to, hold on. I need to give things my access to Spotlight. Okay, so over here at the very, very top of my screen, it says email. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I haven't been able to get in. It says authentication file, your account currently has 1 strike.
Well, that's because the password you typed or the username is wrong. You can do it 4 more times, but just be very careful. First, check again that there's no space in front of your username nor your password to make sure, and then try again. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
If you click your emails right there, then that gives you to your school email. Okay.
And Anna, was I supposed to get I went to Pipeline and I clicked the thing and it's a picture of your child.
Yeah, so I sent you guys 2 files and I wanted to show you how to see that there's 2 things instead of just 1. So you click on your email and you probably aren't seeing it like I am to the right. You probably have to double click and then you see 2 things got attached. License.txt and this picture. These are 2 things that you already have downloaded. I just added them again.
Yeah, but when I click license, it just says this photo is to be used for Adobe tutorial.
Yeah, it's a document. Okay. It's a document called license.txt. It doesn't matter what's in it. I've sent you a document attached and a photo, which is what people get mostly. You get a document of some kind. You might be getting papers from your lawyer, forms to fill out. Who knows? People tend to get files attached like this, or they get photos. Oh, look how cute, my little cutie, what he's doing. Those are the 2 typical things people get, right? How many of you guys have gotten that kind of stuff?
I never get stuff like that.
You never get photos from anyone?
Once in a while.
Okay.
But
Most
Yes.
of what other kind of things do you guys get in your email? Huh? You might get letters, you might get invitations, you might get announcements, announcements of
Spam,
you know,
trash,
what's that?
spam, trash.
Yeah, you might get spam, all that kind of stuff. I'm not necessarily, we're going to ignore spam and trash, but things that you want, I might get in announcements of a webinar happening, or the Santa Barbara Museum of Natural History has a new thing opening up, or just announcements. We get stuff that we want.
I do get
Now,
like that a lot.
yeah, so all those things, right, are files that we just read, but we only read them in our email. We don't see them anywhere else in our computer. We have to go into our email to read them, right? And they usually stay in email. If I click on this question from Donis, that she had a question for me today, I don't download that question. It stays in my email. Next time I want to read it, I either deleted it because it's dealt with, or I still have it in there if I didn't delete it, but it stays in my email. That's a distinction I want to make. So these emails aren't files. But when something becomes attached, so here's Anne, who's a student in my Illustrator class, for example, and she attached a file that we've been creating, and she created a sample file, because after all my Illustrator people have to send me their homework. So she sent it to me. So this is an attachment. Here I sent you two files. I sent you a photo, and if you can scroll down a little bit more, you'll see that I also sent you a file, right? Many times I have sent you instructions on how to get to the handouts. So a lot of the emails from me have something like this attached to it. Leslie, you asked me how to get to homeworks. I have just about every email that I sent the first 2 weeks of class, I attached a file called how to get to the handouts. Okay, so how would you find that file? Okay, here's an email. You want to keep the photo, and you want to keep these instructions on how to get to the handouts as a file now in your computer, right? So this is now a different conversation. Now, is everyone with me where I am or not?
Yes, I am.
Did you? Okay, so I want to make sure that you made it to the pipeline and that you clicked on the word email.
Yep.
I have a question. I did that, but it says the website mail.google.com would like to show alerts in notification center. Allow or don't allow?
It's up to you. If basically, what was the question? Who wants to Google?
Website wants to, let's see, mail.google.com would like to show alerts in notification center.
So basically it wants to be able to know if you want to have a little banner appear on the side of your computer saying you got mail from someone. And if you want that, say yes. And if you don't want that, say no.
Okay, and it also says enable desktop notifications for Santa Barbara City College mail. Okay, or no thanks?
Again, if you want to be notified that you received something, then you say yes. And if you don't want to
Okay.
be notified, then you say no.
So
the-
Diana,
Yes.
I got this whole thing, like what's new in Gmail, which gets started, which I don't really want.
No,
Then
you
I-
do want, this is your school email. You do want to say yes. Say
Oh,
yes.
so I should push get started there.
Yes, you've never opened it. And so your computer's like, hi, welcome. You're finally in the school email. Say get started, right? And it just shows you a few boxes of this is where you get this. This is where you get that. This is what you get, whatever.
So I just keep pushing next and so on, right?
Yeah, because
Because it's
just
blocking
showing-
what I'm trying to see. Thank you.
Yeah, so say yes, okay, or whatever it is that you have to say.
Next.
And then you'll see an email that'll say from, mine says from me because I sent it to me too, but if you would, for you, it would say from Diana Musacchio, right?
Yep.
You see an email on top? Now you can double click on that. And I'm trying to show you all in one, so I see mine here on the side, but if you don't have it set up that way, you have to double click to read it. And when you do double click on that, you should be seeing this email that
Yeah.
has this photo of my kid. And if you scroll down, it says here license.txt. Has everyone found this, you guys?
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
I never
No.
saw that license.
No,
No,
I just
No.
got TXT, but I didn't see that second part of it.
Are you in the same email that I'm showing you? Or are you in the mail from the computer? Where are you in, Leon?
I'm in
In Apple Mail, or where are you?
Pipeline account is one of my inboxes on the left. I have iCloud Pipeline. My
Okay,
comment,
so you're in the mail app, right? This little mail app is what you opened up?
yeah.
Okay. All right, good. So it looks a little bit different because that's Apple Mail. Here I'm showing it inside of the school's pipeline. But that same email, no matter how you're reading it, has two attachments, a photo and a file. The
Yeah.
file is the one that's not so obvious because the photo you kind of see, but the other file is not so obvious. So I'm just trying to show you guys a lot of handouts that I have sent you come in as attachments like that, the handouts of how to get to your handouts and stuff like that. So I'm trying to show you what to do with them. So Leslie, are you with me now? Did you double click on the email from me?
I'm not with you.
All
I'm
right.
sorry. I got something that says inbox and I see your name.
Okay, good. So click on that or double
Click on what?
on
Your
the thing that
name?
you see my name. Yeah, that's an email from me called download sample.
Okay,
Okay, and now you should be seeing this kid's face. Are you
I
seeing it?
am.
Okay, good. So now you're reading the email from me. Al, you said no. A couple of people shook their heads. So Al, where are you?
I'm still trying to get in.
Oh.
My password, it was
So,
wrong, everything.
All right. Okay, so do you have another way to see pipeline email or not?
No, I can,
That's
on the
fine.
screen there, I've got a SPCC portal, pipeline portal. But when I click on that, it comes up, and says ELLUCIAN username not found. Click here to return to
Okay.
login.
All right, so guys, here's the thing. Some of you guys have set up the mail. See, I'm pointing way down in my dock to this little
Uh-huh.
icon that has a mail and envelope on it. I will teach you next week in the next series of classes how to use this app so that you can read your email from Gmail, from Hotmail, from Pipeline, from wherever. So you don't
Well,
have to be going up into these things.
in
But right
my-
now,
In my Apple Mail, I have alslating@gmail.com and alslating@pipeline SBCC.
oh, there you go. We'll click on Pipeline there then. Then
Yeah,
you don't have
I've
to put
clicked
in-
on that and it says no message selected, nothing,
If you have it connected, it should be showing you the emails that I got unless.
Well, it's
you
got a
didn't.
little tilde there, and I assume that means something's wrong. Where my other one has a
It
number
means
of
that,
messages.
yeah, it means that the pipeline password isn't entered, that little thingy,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's all, you need to recover your pipeline password. You need to either get help maybe from Emma or from someone at school to get your pipeline
Yeah.
password. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
How about where it
that's
says
no
enable
problem.
desk, oh, I'm sorry, thought you were done. How about where it says enable desktop notifications? Do I want stuff on my desktop?
Okay, so the first time you use Google, a couple of you guys just now asked me the same thing. Basically, do you want to be notified that an email arrived? If you want to
No.
be notified, you'll get a little banner at the top right over here, like in this area, that'll say an email from Diana Musaki arrived. If you want that, say yes. If you don't want that, say no. It's just your choice. Notifications are the computer telling you, hey, you have this, you have that. And if you go, nah, I'll go myself to check and see if I have mail, then say no. Or if you go, oh yeah, thanks, letting me know that something arrived, then you say yes, it's your choice. All right, so in that, so I'm going to share again my screen. I'm trying to explain how things come into your computer and what are files and what are not files. And a lot of people say, oh, I have a lot of files. And in the end, it's what they really have is a lot of emails that if you go click on it. So everyone has an email from Emma Cruz saying that the classes got canceled last week. No, not everyone. You guys, yours didn't get canceled. Last Friday class got canceled because of Juneteenth. And I believe you all got the email from Uptal Goswami, who is our school president, saying that Juneteenth was going to be recognized. So if you look at June 17th, scroll by your emails, probably you have, I think non-credit got it too. Do you all see this one at all in your pipeline email?
Yes.
If you scroll down to June 17th, okay. So anyway, the thing is that this has no attachment. This is an email you got, and this is not going to be in your computer as a file anywhere. This is just an email. Now, if there's an attachment and you download it, that thing you download becomes a file in your computer, and you can choose to save it or to get rid of it. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to explain is a lot of people think these are files or that this should be somewhere else on their computers. And no, you would have to go into your email to read these things again. Okay. You probably have your own kind of emails that you receive from different types of people. And some you, if you want to keep them, there is a way of turning them into files, but that's a longer story. So now when you click on mine, there's one way would be just to right click on the photo, for example, and then just say, save image to downloads. Or, and this is important, if to avoid what Leon's on the phone right now, so he can't hear this, but to avoid this photo saving as a file, to have it go straight into your Photos app. If it's a photo of your adored grandchild that you want to keep, you might just want to add the image to Photos directly. And then you avoid the downloading it and then putting it into Photos that I had to do with Leon. Does that make sense? Are you guys
No,
seeing that?
I've lost this page with the picture. Now I can just get like your Zoom link email that you sent today and other stuff you sent in the past.
Okay, so why don't you share your screen with me so I can bring you back? So while you're, remember sharing the screen is to.
Yeah, I got to bring it up there. I don't.
So guys, I know that the license.txt is just a blank basic document. It's just a sample document. I don't have anything in there other than a thing saying it's a photo for Adobe tutorial for learning purposes. It's just a basic file. It's a sample file. You guys can get rid of it as much as you can get rid of the photo of my kid, because you don't need the photo of my kid in your Photos. Okay, it's just sample files that I'm sending you. None of these are important. So Leslie, if you want to share your screen, you need to.
Well, I've lost the stuff on the bottom where you can share and raise your hand and everything. I just have a big screen now with all kinds of emails. I don't know how to get that.
All right. So when you, do you see on your doc, the zoom.us, the Zoom icon? If you right click on that, does it show you any window like Zoom or something like that you can click on?
No.
Okay, then I'll do my best to explain to you. I want to keep finishing here, showing this email to everyone, and then I'll try to figure out how to tell you where to be. Okay, so in this one, you can right click. So this is what I was saying, Leon, when you were on the phone. Instead of downloading it, save image to downloads, then you have to do the whole transfer it to the Photos app. What you can do right here is right click on a photo and add it to the Photos. So that would adding it to the Photos app directly. Does that make sense? So I'm going to just go ahead and do that. When I do that, when I say add to Photos, it's going to add itself to the Photos app. Since this is a class where I just want you guys to see downloaded files, instead of doing that, let's just say right click and save image to downloads. That's you choosing where to save it. Okay, that's one way to download things. Let's do that. Save image to downloads, and it's downloaded into my computer. Now, the file here, if I go to it, I can just go straight to this little arrow that says download and just click on the word download. Just click on it one time. Do you want to allow, if you've never downloaded things from Google, it'll ask you, do you want to allow downloads from mail.google? You say yes, allow, because you want to download things from Google.
That's what I was trying to tell you that I wasn't seeing. I don't have this portion of.
I hear you, Leon, because you're not in the Google. So give me a second. I'll show you how to do it in the Apple Mail.
Now my documents is totally left. It's gone.
Okay, hold on. All right. So this is how you download a file of any type and kind. This happens to be a .txt, but any kind of PDF file, whatever you get. So you tend to get a lot of PDFs from me with information. So if you go back to my emails from the past, Leslie, you will have information there about how to get to these files. You need to download them, okay? All right, so then that's two different things. It's a photo and text. Now let's go see. I'm gonna share now I'm gonna switch to sharing my thing. So now I'm done. I don't want to get rid of Safari. I just want to minimize it for a minute. So see up here, these three little red, yellow, or green. I'm going to hit the yellow one to have it just minimize. So hit the little yellow button in Safari to minimize it. And now I'm opening the Finder window and I'm going to downloads. And here we go. There's my license.txt and my unnamed JPEG. Okay. So those are the two things that I just downloaded. Where did they end up? In my downloads folder, because I said download. So anything you come in from an email or from the internet that you download lands here. So this is what you then need to go, oh, I want it, I don't want it, I don't need it, right click, send to trash. Oh, I definitely do want this. File away in a place where you want it. Leon, share your screen and I can see what's happening to you. The file that said the mail, that the information mail that said something like is Juneteenth or whatever, that does not get downloaded as a file. That's just stays as an email. Okay, so there you go. There's your photo. So right click and there's the license text. The one that you said you couldn't see. No, but now you're opening it, which is fine. But that's not necessarily what I wanted to do. I want you to download it. So right click and save to downloads folder. And then you can do the same thing with the photo up on top. Now go over to the photo and right click. And because it's a photo, hold on. You could save to downloads folder, right? That's a choice, but you have one more choice. Don't do it yet. If this was a photo of, say, your son or that you want, then you would just export straight to photos. Since it's just a photo of my kid that I want you to trash, you can move up and save the downloads folder as a sample file to then to trash. But you see how you could have sent it straight to photos to avoid all of the back and forth that you did? Okay.
So what you're saying is I could have done that earlier as opposed to dragging them down here.
Yeah, and then having to delete. And now it never went into your pictures or your downloads. It just went straight to the export. I mean, if you do it that way, you avoid it being in there. Does that make sense? Now you have, this is your downloads folder over there that you're showing us right now, Leon, and you have hundreds of things in there. Even though it says only 89 items, you have many, many folders, right? So you have to start either right clicking and moving to the trash of stuff you don't want, or organizing the stuff you want, put them in folders in your documents and stuff like that. Okay, right now,
So I found documents. What happened was this collapsed.
Yeah, that's what was happening to Susan. You have to have that.
So all those photos, not that many that were in documents, I'm seeing I've got even more in downloads. So
Yep.
do it the same way.
Yeah, click on it one time, not double
there,
click. Just
click
click and hit the space bar to see what it is.
All right, that's when I was ushering at the bowl. So
Okay, so if you want that, you hit the space bar again. Hit the space bar again to close it. I mean, it's like, it's just a preview that opens and closes.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can maybe see all three of them, all four of them. If you want to keep them all, then you can do it one at a time, drag them. No, don't open anything. Drag it down,
to do, how come we
drag
don't-
it to the Photos app because you're not downloading. It's already in your downloads. It's in your downloads. You've already downloaded this
So I
in
gotta do that.
November of 2018. I see there that it's been your downloads folder since November of 2018. So you drag it to that one. Yeah, right there. And oh, looks like you already have it. See, that's good news. So now don't import it and now trash it. right click, move to trash. You already had it in there. It's been sitting there. You already did the right thing of putting in who knows when, and it's sitting there as a duplicate. So you do that and you probably, all of these probably have already been dealt with, but now you're seeing how to tell. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. All right. Okay, so everything I was trying to do here is show how a lot of the times people are confused and they go, why? They keep saying they have a lot of files, and I discover what they have is a lot of emails, but no files. Okay. If so, when you go to your document and desktops, they're empty and you don't have stuff. It would be things that you created. For example, Susan had a lot of things that she had written, or Holly had things that she had made. But the other way is to have a lot of things that got downloaded, right? By doing those two things we just did. You could also directly download it from the internet. So from something on the internet, you could have downloaded a file, a folder. You go to the DMV and you have to fill out a form. You have to download the form first and stuff like that. Okay. All right. So that's how things end up in your computer, and why the downloads, I consider it's the dump. You get into everything dumps into there, and you from there need to decide if you keep it or don't keep it. All right. So my goal at this point is that your desktop and that your desktop is empty and your downloads is empty, or as empty as it can be. And all that stuff is in your documents folder. So how do we move that stuff? How do we then choose what we really, really, really want to have handy? Okay. So in my downloads, I actually still have the class files to download. And now I have two more things. These things accumulate really quickly. The license.txt and the unnamed file. So say that you made a mistake and you didn't want it. Oh, sound music, please. Turn off the music, whoever has music on. Leon, I just turned your sound off because you had music playing. Okay. So we're going to get rid of these two that we just downloaded, but you all found them in your downloads, right? Did you all download them?
Yep. Yes.
You can see how something as innocent as that, left for months or years, suddenly you have 200 things here really quickly, right? So you need to be cleaning your downloads all the time. Let's be clear. These downloads are in your computer. So for those of you who have a computer that's too full, this is in your computer. It's not in the cloud. The downloads download from the internet to your computer. So if your computer is full, your first task is to empty out your downloads if your stuff is in the cloud. Now, if your stuff is not in the cloud, it doesn't matter. If you move them from here to documents or desktop, your computer is still full. The only thing that matters then is moving things to the trash, because from the trash, you can then empty your trash and then it really goes away. So I'm going to move these two to the trash. So I'm going to select both, right click and move to trash. That's how I got rid of those. And then files class to download. I'm going to go ahead and move these family files in example. I'm going to move it to my documents folder, my recipes. So I'm going to make all these things go into my documents folder. You guys don't have to because you have other stuff of your own in there. But if you have nothing in there, some of you guys have new computers, then do move these things over. And then when you go to your documents, you should have maybe at this point, hopefully 5 to 10 to 12 folders inside of which you have other stuff, right? So you have things inside of these folders. And if you're not seeing it in this mode, you might be seeing it in list mode, which is what I taught you first. So if you go to documents in list mode, then you have it more in, like, you have to open one up to see it or open the other one to see it. And then you have DAD and taxes and so on and so forth. This one might be a little bit harder to keep organized, or a little bit easier. It depends on your point of view. But here it says I only have 11 items at the bottom, but I know that I have hundreds of items in because I have a lot inside of these folders. Okay. Now, give me a sec, Julie. Now, the big question is, if you really did empty out your desktop like I asked you to, and your downloads like I asked you to, this is the only thing that I left in here. I'm gonna move them in again. I'm just trying to, there you go. So now my folder is empty. I have nothing in my downloads, nothing in my desktop. Everything is in my documents as I hope you would have it. And I know it's a lot of work for you guys and you're getting there. So don't, the question now is, well, what of these things would I really like to have handy? And that's why I had them on my desktop and or I want them on my desktop again, but you've told me it's bad to have them on the desktop. What do you mean? Can I put them back on the desktop? So I'm going to explain what way you would put them back on the desktop. Meanwhile, I'm going to take some questions. So Julie.
This is very basic. I know to move two things that are adjacent, you just hit shift and it highlights both. But I have the unnamed, the picture of your little boy, and then the license is about 4 up. I can't remember how to
Command.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay.
Meanwhile, Yolanda had a question. Is this principle same with the photos received from a text or a messenger? Is this only for emails? Yes. So Yolanda, if you receive a photo through text, you can also click on that and say save and save to photos or save to downloads. Most of the photos I went to photo Opera Gallery are in messages and not mails. Hence, I'm asking. Thanks, Tiana. Oh, okay, same question. Yes. So if you receive photos in your phone or in your messages app, which is the equivalent of your text on your computer, you can also right click and say save to photos. Or if you're on a phone, then you kind of click and hold tight. And when you click and hold tight, then you can download a photo. So I don't have my phone connected here right now, but you guys go to your texts, and if you receive a photo, you know how, go to a photo that you might have received on your phones, and then just go ahead and click and hold your finger for a little bit longer on that photo, and you'll see that it says save, and that saves to your photos. Tell me, Yolanda, if that worked. Is everyone trying that out? How many of you received texts, photos on your texts?
So Diana, you said hold, what are we holding?
Put your finger, are you doing on the phone or on the computer?
I'm here, I'm holding my phone here right now.
Okay, so let me stop my share so you can see my little sample. I don't have my phone connected, but so here's my phone. And in the messages app, I have a photo. See that? It's hard to tell, I know, because I'm small, but you can see it. Put your finger on that photo and keep holding for a little bit. And then when you keep pressing, you'll see that now it gives you the option to save or whatever. So if you click save, that save, it goes into your Photos app.
Oh, it goes directly to like your photo gallery or something?
The Photos app. The Photos app.
Okay, all right.
So that when you look at your photos, it shows up.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
That's the
Everyone try
photos
that.
app on your phone. Huh?
That's on your phone, but that photo from your phone goes into the cloud, and the cloud moves it to your computer as long as you have that system set up.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Okay. Which most of you guys have. If you don't, then that's different. All right. So how many of you guys have things that you just moved into your documents that you now want back in your desktop?
No, I do.
Yeah. Me,
Okay. So go ahead and say yes. Give me a little yes. Some of you guys still have yeses on from before though. So hold on. Let me clear your yeses from before. Okay, now everyone's cleared. Now say yes if you have something that you used to have on your desktop that you want back on your desktop.
was that a raised hand or the raised?
Yes,
thumb?
the green yes.
Oh,
The green yes.
Oh, the green, yes.
Mhm.
Oh,
Give me
really?
the green yes. You have it, Marie. You have the green yes.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
green round. It's a check mark.
It's okay, yeah.
The check mark shows up as the word yes. Okay, so that's only 5 of you guys who said yes. Especially those of you had a lot of stuff on your desktop before. Susan, you don't want anything on your desktop anymore? Cool. I mean,
No.
good. That's fine. I'm not saying that you have to. But some people who are accustomed to working off their desktop really want it. Okay, so good. Now, let me show you. I'm going to share my screen now, but this time I'm going to share my entire screen. So for those of you who can't see too well, I'm sharing, who you need to move your zoom in more, because I do need to share my entire screen to show you this. Okay. So here's the deal. This is my doc. My desktop is empty. My downloads is empty. I told you that if you put things in your desktop, it slows down your computer. So you've followed my rules, grumbling a little bit, some of you guys, and you've put everything in your documents, or you're about to, or you'll keep working on it between here and Thursday. So you'll have questions from me. But now your documents is full of stuff which you are hopefully organizing, putting folders within folders, creating a structure for your stuff. Okay, so that's kind of where we are. Now, there's a couple things you really want on your desktop. Why? Maybe it's the, I call it a sermon, but I don't know what you call your things, Susan. Maybe you don't like the word sermon. You call it lesson. But say that you want a sermon on your desktop again, because you're working on it, or a novel that you're working on, or there's a photo of your grandkids that you want to be able to see all the time, or your kid. There's some reasons you have, what kind of things would you want on your desktop? And really, I'm asking is because I really want to know if it's things like a file, or if it's access to programs, or access, someone mentioned something about a Gmail icon. So please tell me now, what kind of things would you like on your desktop? And let's talk about that for a little bit.
Files.
Okay. Like what? Movies or documents you're creating, or
Spreadsheets.
spreadsheets? Okay. That's okay. See, the reason I'm asking is because if you had said a movie icon, I'd go, really bad idea for it on your desktop. If you want it on your desktop, you should probably create an alias. Okay. An alias, which is a shortcut. Why? Movies are very, very heavy. They're big, big files. No matter if it's a 1-minute movie video that you just got from someone at Disneyland, it's still a very big file. So if you really want to see it for some reason not in the right place, not in the Photos app, but you want to have it handy, you need to have a shortcut to it, or a pointer to it. And we call that an alias. That's one way to do things. Plan B, you could have a stack, and I'm going to teach you about stacks in a minute. And if you have a stack, then that would be another way to have it handy. So a few more examples first. So Al wants some Excel file or spreadsheets. Okay. What else? What other kind of files would you guys like on your desktop? Marie?
I'm on a design committee, so I'll have a folder that will have both files, a series of pictures, plus text, notices, and all sorts of things.
All right. Definitely not stuff for your desktop, but you want quick access to it though.
Exactly.
Right? But you really don't want to have files and folders and photos or videos on your desktop. But that's a good reason to say, I don't want, so here's the long process. Here's what really happens when you don't have things on your desktop. So see how my desktop is empty right now? And I go, oh, I'm going to sit on work on those files that my committee is designing, right? So this is Marie trundling to her computer, and you open up your computer and there it is, staring at you, an empty desktop. So what do you need to do to get to those files right now? The way I've taught you to take everything off, you would have to click down on the Finder app, open it up, click on Documents, and say that this is your folder called Design Committee. Click on Design Committee, and there you go. There are your files, right? So say that this is it. So it's what, 3 steps, and here they are. Now, maybe they're a bit more complicated. Maybe you put them inside of all my volunteer office, all my volunteer things inside of a 3 different so this is called volunteers. This is 3 different organizations. Then you open that one up and it's inside of one called design thing. So you might need to open 4 or 3 little things until you get there. Either way, if you know if you file things correctly, it's not hard, but how much easier was it when it was on your desktop, right?
Right.
Okay, so everyone go to your documents folder. Everyone go to your documents folder. Select here documents.
You're sharing.
I am sharing my screen, yeah. Everyone go to your documents folder. So if you're on desktop or downloads, click on documents folder.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone?
Yes.
Now
Yeah.
everyone go to file, make new folder. It's gonna appear on your documents and it's gonna be called untitled and call this one sample. I'm making it in uppercase, sample alias to desktop. So this is just a sample folder to show you how to put it and then click away. Okay, so we've made a folder that's empty right now.
Deanna,
Yes,
yeah, I have, I'm in my documents, actually at the top of the list, from my desktop, a folder called From My Desktop.
yeah,
All the things in the folder are the things I took off the desktop that I
Yeah.
want to put back on. So can
Yeah.
I just have an alias to that folder?
yes, you can, but yes, you can, but totally, that's one thing you can do.
Same thing.
But ideally, you'll reorganize those things that when you're at your desktop in a better way. But if you really had pared it down to stuff that you really wanted on your desktop, then yes, do it with that. But first, many people don't have that folder. So I've made you have a folder. So here's what Al is saying. I told him to put all the stuff he had left on his desktop onto a folder. I told you all at the beginning of today, right? If you hadn't done it yet, to have a folder called From Your Desktop. Now, hopefully that's because you pared it down to just a few things, right? If you still have hundreds of things here, you need to still keep organizing. But that said, even if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. You can have it be this way. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to create an alias. So for those of you who have the From My Desktop icon, go ahead and do it on that one. But everyone else, let's go to this one we just made, sample alias to desktop. So right click and say, make alias.
No.
Now-
I'm having a trouble with that. I've got a touchpad and I put 3 fingers down on it.
No,
Okay.
it's not 3, it's 2. 2 fingers is the right.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Now, so what Al is doing, and if some of you guys did the From My Desktop, you would just go to From My Desktop and say, right click, make alias. So now I have 2 aliases. I have
Okay.
what
Wait a
looks
minute.
like, I have like what looks like a duplicate, but pay attention and you'll have to see it on yours because mine is too small. Look over here and notice that this little, what seems like a sample copy has a teensy little black arrow here on the left side. From My Desktop has a teensy little black arrow. I know it's too tiny. You have to look at it on your own.
Yeah.
But the name of the folder, which could never be the same, has added the word alias to it. I mean, we had written sample alias, but notice that the computer added one of them is the alias, right? Y'all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Diana, when I right click there, I get look up From My Desktop, search with DuckDuckGo, cut,
Okay,
copy,
stop.
share.
When you right clicked on From My Desktop, you did not get something called make alias?
No, I didn't get that.
Okay, so then hold on a minute and I'll help you, but let me tell everyone what to do with these aliases. So hold on. Okay. So this alias is a pointer to that folder. See, if I click on From My Desktop, it's full of stuff. If I click From My Desktop alias, it's got the same stuff, but it's not that it's duplicated. It's just that this is pointing to that one. Remember earlier on in this class, I talked about how when you walk into a room, you switch on the light switch, but it turns out on the light in the middle of the room. This is the switch that right now is showing us that, but when we move it to the desktop, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to move this one, and I can either do it physically way over here to my desktop and put it there, or watch, I can move it over here to the desktop. I can grab this sample alias and move it to the desktop, but I'm moving the alias. Either way, I landed, and I'm going to move them over here. Some of you guys have stuff there and you can't see my desktop. These two icons landed on my desktop, but notice that it has an arrow. These are aliases. These are now pointers, so that if I close my files, I'm Marie, I trundle up to my computer and I say, oh, I need to start working on the design team files. I don't want to go into the Finder to open them. I just find over here that this one's called design files for the thing I volunteered for. I just need to double click on that and I open it up, and there you go. It takes me to my files. It takes me to
Okay.
the place in my desktop where those files were.
Question,
Yes.
if I receive an email or something and I want to put something from the email into the folder, can I do it, put it into the alias that's on the desktop?
Yeah. Yeah. So say I'm going to put something in, I'm going to put something in my download. So say that you, let me just put something. in
Another
my
picture
download.
comes in, you know, something
Yeah,
like that.
so let me bring this file into my downloads. Okay, so you got an email and this was in the email and you downloaded it. So where it'll end up is in your downloads, right?
Mhm.
Marie, you got it as an email and you download it. So it'll be in your downloads, right? Now
Okay.
from your downloads, you want it to go straight to that folder that is full of all your design projects, right? Which is sitting here on the desktop, right?
As the
So
alias.
now, watch the name of this is called 54358. I'll take it from my downloads. I hope everyone's following me. This came from an email that she received. It's like something for the design. You take it and you just, instead of dragging it into documents and then finding where in the documents that folder is, if this is her sample folder that she was talking about, you just drag it in there and drop it in there. And now this is that folder that she had all her files in and it dropped in. Okay, so yeah, dropping it onto an alias is the same as if you had dropped it into the right place. So
Why wouldn't you just drag it over to the desktop word here on the left?
no, but thank you for asking that. I'm going to do Command Z, because if I drag it to the desktop, this is a file. If I drag it to the desktop, where is it now?
Oh, separate
Well, beyond it being separate, where is it? It's on my,
desktop.
On your desktop, and it's not in your document.
it's not only not in the right place, but it's on my desktop, which I said should not have files. And
But you
it's
just dragged it over there.
no, I did not. I did not drag it into the desktop. I dragged it onto the alias. If I drag it onto the alias and drop it, it's not on my desktop at all. And when I go, it's in my alias, and where that alias is, it's like a hole. Imagine it's like a direct hole into this folder. Okay, called, what was it called? From files.
From my desktop.
My desktop. And there it is. It landed. Let me give this perfect example. This file, I'm going to, instead of sample alias to desktop, I'm going to call this one Marie's design files. Okay, from her design committee, because it's a pretty perfect example that we're getting. Okay, so she has a folder here that she has made an alias for. So she puts this folder on her desktop. This is an empty file as far as weight. All the files are here in Marie's design files. This is where they are. So let's put some files in her Marie's design files. So here we go. So if you look at Marie's design files, there's some files in there that she needs for this project. Yeah. If I look into this folder, if I double click to look into this folder, the same files are there. It's not a duplicate. It's just that this folder is taking me there. Does that make sense, you guys? It's like, it's the light switch taking me there. If I go to the desktop and I see Marie's design files, that is an alias, okay, that takes me to her files. So it's a shortcut. Mac calls them alias. PCs call them shortcut. I think shortcut is a better word, but on the Macs they're called aliases. All right.
I've never heard that expression or term until right now.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
are you suggesting that we should keep that alias that we just moved over there as like a holding pen for like for any future stuff that we need to get at, but we don't want to have it weighed in on the desktop?
Okay, so here's the thing. What I suggest is that you make containers in your documents for the things that you want to keep. That is the first step. Then when you get an email, something that you want to keep, and it downloads into the downloads folder, you have to put it into the right place because you said you want to keep it. So if you have a folder made for it, it's very easy to put it into the documents and into the right folder. But if you want one less step, then make an alias to that folder. It's like a shoot. Imagine a slide, like the kids slide. You drop it in here and go shoop. It'll drop it into the right place. So now I'm going to grab this thing that she just got. So this is Marie. I'm going to change the name to Marie's design file that she just got, right? So she just received this in the email. So she wants to store it from the downloads in the right place. If this is something she's working on right now, then it's good to make an alias. Now, if you have 20 aliases on your desktop, it's just as messy. But you could grab it from here and drop it right in there. Boom. It didn't go onto the desktop. It didn't make any weight on the desktop because this is like a toboggan, a chute. I don't know how to call it, a laundry chute, a baking chute, a slide. It's an open hole sending it directly into this place, which is Marie's design files. There it is, Marie's design file. Even though I dropped it in there, it got stored in the documents folder, which is the right place. The computer works really well from the design, from the documents folder and not from here. So these are links that send things in there. Yes.
Can I bypass the downloads and just move it, grab it directly from
your
the
email
and pull it out to the alias file?
If you know how to do that, you can train your things to, instead of save image to downloads, you could say save image as, and it takes you where, and you tell it go down to the documents folder into Marie's design files and save it straight in here.
Okay.
You can do that, but that's a step that maybe I'm not about to teach to everyone. I know you're more advanced, so I'm showing it to you. So you can do a save as instead of save to downloads, and then you bypassed it. And then
Why
it
do
went,
you
see
prefer
how,
documents over
what's that?
downloads?
I didn't hear your question, Leon.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were through. Why do you prefer documents over downloads for just leaving stuff? Why is it so critical to get things off downloads and put it somewhere else?
Here's the thing. When you have junk that you don't know where you want it, leave it in downloads and either get rid of it or leave it there. That's fine. But when you know that you want it or need it, if you put it in documents, you can store this easier. Downloads is always going to be getting full of stuff that comes from everywhere. So it's harder to have an organization if it's always a mess, which always will be, because you'll be getting emails, you'll be downloading from the internet, you'll get something from a newspaper, you'll get a clip from a screenshot. Things end up here, kind of like I mentioned, like when you arrive, I kind of gave you the example, you arrive from Costco with a bunch of stuff and you just drop it all into your downloads. And then you start taking the butter to the fridge, the shoes to the closet, And then some miscellaneous thing that just came in from the junk mail, well, you leave it kind of there until you have time to sort through it. So you sort through it, and ideally, you only have 1 to 20 things in your downloads, and every once a month you clean it out, or once a week, or once every year if you only download a few things a year. But if you download things all the time, you might want to empty it out once a week. It depends on your computer and how much you download, right?
Thank
I-
you.
I think a clarification, Deanna, might be
Mhm.
whether or not you can set up folders in downloads.
Oh, yes, you can. And he has some, but then if they
Oh,
live there,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
you can have many folders in your downloads. I can make a folder here called junk. I can make, this is my downloads, like another
Yeah.
folder called important stuff. I mean, the folder can be made anywhere. But then remember alphabetical order. Then I download something from the internet and it gets in between there. And I download another folder and it gets in between there. And I download another thing, and everything I download, my important folders are now in the midst of 200 other things, and they're hard. You know what I mean? If this is truly important stuff, I might want to organize it better by putting it in the documents, and then whatever's important goes in there. So it's just a strategy. If you want to keep it in, there are two reasons why you want it or not in your download.
Mine's empty, but I just.
Well,
thought of
yeah, no, but let
clarification.
me explain. The downloads is fine to have things in there. It's just, it could be messy because of all the old stuff that you probably have things like when we started on this, some people had things in their downloads from 2012. Fine. So you have hundreds of thousands of things, then it's hard to find what matters. What matters, throw it in the documents folder as a solution. But plan B, why is this also important? And I know that we have 1 minute to go to the class. So if you have other questions, I'll stay behind to answer some, but let me finish this one. Is the crucial distinction that downloads is truly on your computer versus documents and desktop is only on the computer for about 5 people in this class. For the rest of you guys, it's on the cloud. So if you want something to stay on the downloads, it's living in your computer, which for people who have very little space on their computer, that would be one way to empty out space. Take things out of the downloads because they're in your computer. Now, if you move it to the documents, you're putting it in the cloud. So that takes it out of your computer and makes space in your computer by putting it in the cloud. Of course, that means you need to have space in the cloud. Otherwise, the cloud is full, right? But it's 2 different places. For those of you for whom the downloads and the documents are all on your computer, then it's just a matter of organization. But for those of you who are moving it from downloads to documents, you are actually putting it on the cloud. What's the advantage of that? Well, if your computer dies, everything that's in your downloads goes down with the computer, unless you have a backup. Versus if it's in the cloud, it stays in the cloud until you buy a new computer and bring everything back into your computer. So that's the big difference about people who have things in the cloud or not. In the cloud, it lives. You can access it from when you, like I go to Argentina, if my stuff is in the cloud, I have access to all my files. I don't have to bring my computer. I can get on my mom's computer and have access to my files if my stuff is in the cloud. If instead of it's on my computer or in my downloads, I can't access them from anywhere other than from my computer. Okay. So that's, I just wanted to say the other reason why you might want it. For those of you who use the cloud, then you would want to move it to the, from the downloads to the clouds, just so that it's, that it doesn't occupy space on your computer. Anything you leave in the downloads occupies space on your computer. And I think, Leon, your computer is pretty full. Anyone else's computer is pretty full. By moving it to the cloud, you've made space on your computer. But caveat, you need to still have space on your cloud. Okay, Julie?
I have 3 things that were screenshots. And in order to get my desktop for the class, I moved everything under documents. I do want those on my desktop because they're paintings that I'm doing, that I'm copying. So I need them instantly available when I'm painting.
Okay.
So how do I move these 3 back so I can see, just click on them?
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. Here's the thing. First of all, and I want you guys to get accustomed to this. It's not that hard to click on the Finder, Documents, and then there's your stuff, right? But
Right.
say you want it even easier than that. Say that this photo is the art that you're working on. So I'm going to call it Julie's art. By the way, I want to say that I'm aware that it's for 42, in fact. So for those of you who have had all your questions answered and you're happy, class is officially over. You're ready to go. Right now I'm answering questions. You're welcome to stay, of course, as usual. But for those of you who have to go, I'll see you on Thursday, okay? And the homework is keep working on this. Organize, organize, organize. Make aliases for the stuff you can't live without. I'm going to show you another way that's I like even better than aliases on Thursday, okay? But meanwhile, for those of you who at least know the alias method, you can bring out either a whole folder, as I showed you before, or I'm going to show you now with Julie's example, an actual file. So if you need to leave, go ahead and leave.
Anna, I have
And
an
if not-
appointment. This is Leslie, and I'd
Mhm.
like to know, just for a minute conversation, because I have to go, on that Zoom thing, how would I have gotten my thing back? Right click and do what?
On what Zoom thing? I apologize.
Well, I
don't know.
couldn't communicate with you all this time because I lost the bottom part that says share and everything. You said go to Zoom and then you get back to me, so I don't know how.
Oh,
In Shape.
so you lost the entire window. You don't see any, what are you seeing now?
I just see the little girl's face and that, and then I never could get back in to talk, and you said do something, but then I didn't know what to do.
So now that I stopped sharing, do you
Would
see
it be
anything?
show all windows and then I would get the thing back from Zoom or what?
Now that I'm not sharing, what are you seeing? Just describe what you are seeing. Are you
I'm just seeing your face
Okay,
and Santa Barbara City College website with the little girl's face on it.
I have no idea what the Santa Barbara City College.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
where we were, under your name.
She's looking at
Oh,
the
that you're
email.
looking
with
at the
picture
email.
Of your
Got it.
child.
Got it,
Yeah.
got it. Sorry, the reason I got confused is that long-haired kid is a boy. So when you said little girl, I didn't know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I
Still an
don't-
adorable little one.
I don't care at all. I just got this, I got lost because in my brain, what little girl are you talking about? I totally get it. Sorry. You're still in the mail. So you can go up to the top left by the apple. Does it say Safari or Chrome, whatever you were looking at?
Well, yes, I can see Safari at the top of my
Okay,
screen.
so go to Safari and say quit. Click on Safari and say quit. At the very bottom of when you click on the word Safari, it.
Now I
will
just
it.
have you.
Good. So now you're in Zoom. Good. You wanted to see how to see Zoom. Me is Zoom.
Okay, so
Now
I have
I'm-
another quick question. I'm
Wait.
sorry to butt in, but I have to go. So do I have to sign out of the City College thing, or did I just take care of it by signing out of Safari?
You took care of it.
Pardon me?
You took care of it. Yeah.
All right, thank you for letting me butt in.
You're welcome. All right. So here's Julie. And here's not Julie, but here's Julie's art. And she wants to open this one particular file. So instead of making an alias of an entire folder, you right click and you make an alias of just the art. And then you drag that out. Okay. So then 2 days later, when Julie's gonna work on her art, instead of opening a folder, she opens her art. So you double click, and in this case, it's gonna open the preview and it's gonna open whatever. But what kind of files are they? Julie?
There's screenshots in my documents. I dragged them over to the. It just says PNG, so.
Okay, so when you you said it was art you're working on?
They're photographs from the internet that
Okay.
my daughter sent me, so.
Okay, so then you just make an alias and you put it on your desktop like this, right? So it occupies, photos otherwise are really heavy. So you just put an alias to it. Okay,
For each one, I have 3 screenshots that
Yeah.
I want on my desktop.
Sure, you can make three aliases, put them out here. So show me share your screen and I'll help you with that.
Oops.
All right, so those are your 3 screenshots. Okay, so do a right click.
Hang on, I just messed up something here.
Now you
Sorry.
could call them something more logical of what they are if you want. You can call it wave or I don't know, whatever you want to call it instead of calling them screenshots. So whatever, say that you want to keep that name on them. Right click. Make alias.
Make alias, okay.
Yep. Cool. Now go to the other 2.
I
Just
didn't
click.
type anything in there.
Well, you don't have to. It's called alias. It's got a long name, but unless you want
Oh.
to change the name, I told you can change the
I
name.
see, okay.
Click
cool.
away. It's got the same exact long name as your screenshot with alias. I would have changed the name to something more descriptive like flower and wave, but whatever.
Yeah. well,
Click
there are only
away
3 of
again.
them.
And then the 3rd one. Now that's, are you going to change the name?
No,
No. Okay, so click away. Yeah, click on something new, anything else to get out of that. Yeah. And then the bottom one, I believe, is your last one. The one more down. That's why if you had called them wave, flower, and whatever, it would be easier, right? Or horse, but now they're
1,
all
2,
screenshots.
3. Now I've got 6 of them.
Exactly. 3 are the
Oh.
files. 3 are the files.
I
Click
see.
away. Click away. You gotta click out of that. And the other 3 are just aliases that weigh 0. If you look at the size, they're 0 bytes. They weigh nothing.
Right.
But now hold down your command key and click on the 3 aliases. Hold down the command key. You're not holding down the command key.
Oh, I thought I was.
No,
Oh.
you're still not because they're not.
I
saying
know,
selected.
but I'm holding the command key down and nothing's happening.
Keep it held down and go to the next one. Maybe it's not the command key. Check on
Well-
your screen and make sure it's the space right next to the space bar.
Yep, that's what it is.
Okay, keep it held down and click on the next one.
Yeah,
You-
let me
you
try
had
to
it-
go on the right side, see maybe there's something wrong. Because this is what happened before when I asked you about, alternate spacing. And it worked when you told me, but I've been trying the command key, so. My-
Click on the desktop again, somewhere just on the desktop and then try again. Try one more time. This is weird. It should be selecting. I don't know why it's not.
I know.
Try again. I've never had the command not work.
I know.
Okay, and now try again.
Yeah, it's
Have her click
All right.
on the
Oh, I don't know. It
document
doesn't-
window.
It doesn't matter what window she's in, the documents window.
But I mean, if she clicks on it, so the 3 red, white, red, yellow, and green are on, maybe then it'll work.
Well, click on the window. Yeah, you're right. Click on it because it's not selected. Click on that window. Click on the window. Click, yeah, just click.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Now it'll work, I think.
Now do short command and command and command. You're right. You didn't have the window
Thank
selected.
you.
Okay. Now go back and grab one of them and drag them out onto your screen. Yep. Perfect. Now close this window. And there you have the screenshots to the 3 things that you want. So right now they're all selected. So go ahead and deselect. But yeah, since you had all 3, the L3 opened up.
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So now you guys saw how to say either a folder that accesses you many folders or individual files. I have a better way that I'll show you next week, but that's a good way.
Great.
Here's
thank
the
you.
thing. Here's what matters. Oh, one more thing. Well, here's really important. When you're done with these 3, because you moved on to another art piece, just throw away the 3 aliases. They weigh nothing, but they clutter up your desktop if you don't need them. Throw them away, put them in the trash. The files will still be there. If you want the screenshots themselves, they're still there. The aliases, throwing away the aliases does not throw away the file. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yep.
You just got rid of the file still in your documents and you're done. The design job that Marie's working on is done. She's moved on to another nonprofit. She can get rid of that alias, but she still wants the work in case she can access it some other time. Or maybe when she's back in that design committee in 6 months, she makes another alias. But right now, if you're not working on it, get rid of the aliases you don't work on. Put only the important things that you need access right now on your desktop. Link to them, use them. When that file's done and delivered, get rid of the alias. The files are still there. And you only have the aliases of what really matters in front of you all the time on the desktop.
Right.
I know, Marie, you're asking a question.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Were you able to address my question about having the a folder photography under documents and then all, my hundreds of pictures by subject as subfolders?
Yeah, so you are different than most people. Most people's photos are photos of family, travels, friends, that kind of stuff. And so it all goes into the Photos app. Now, Marie is in my Photoshop classes and she takes photos that she does art with. And so you could still have in the Photos app to look at them. But if you really don't need to look at them in that way, and you just want the files available for you to bring into the cards that you're making or something, then yeah, you can just have a folder called Photos in your documents and then put all your subfolders by organization: birds, hummingbirds, statues, skies,
You've been peeking.
No, you've shown me your work in Photoshop. She has shown me her work. She collages elements like I've just said, and she makes greeting cards with, different elements and flowers and stuff like that. And so you can organize them that way and then use them inside of Photoshop. You can access them through Bridge or through whichever way you want, not having them in the Photos app because you're working them on them in Photoshop. So you can have all those in the documents and you can have one folder on the desktop that takes you to the Photos app, or you can have a few folders, one to your birds and one to your flowers. But I think that here's the thing. I think that's unnecessary because, and let me share my screen to explain why.
No, everything is.
Say they have one folder here that's called my photos or my greeting card photos or whatever you want to call it. You double click on it, you enter a Finder window where you'll have, a folder for hummingbirds, a photo for flowers, a photo for trees, a photo for whatever I'm inventing, ready. And this gave you access to that folder. That little alias gave you access to that folder. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Cool.
So it's a good setup the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But as long
Not on
as,
the
and as long as they're not on the desktop, they're in your documents, but the one icon works just as easily to get you there, but all the stuff is in the right place, put away in the right place.
So I guess my setup, my favorites is old. It still has the pictures. Icon.
Yeah.
Should I dump that or just leave it?
Yeah. You don't use the cloud for your stuff, do you?
It's funny. It says my pictures are on the cloud, but they're on my under the document. Doesn't show.
So here's the thing. And this is going to be a bit of a longer and that you might get. I'm not sure that everyone else will get, but the Photos app, the one that's on the dock, it creates a file called library, Photos library app. And that one lives in the pictures folder. So you don't want to get rid of the pictures folder, but if you get rid of it from the sidebar, you're not getting rid of it. You're just getting rid of the quick access to it. This sidebar here, these are just aliases made by Apple. They're not called aliases, but it's a quick access to your downloads.
Okay.
If I go all the way into my computer, even though I don't see the pictures folder here, if I go deep into the users, which no one really goes in, do you see that I do still have my pictures folder here?
I see.
And my music and my movies, the one that I said we don't see anymore, they're still there. They're just not quickly accessible. You have something like that, which lets you access it. Most people don't have that anymore. So old hat people still have it. And then you go into this place called pictures and stuff like that.
Okay.
Most people don't have that quick access, but the folder is still there. So if you get rid, like I just did, of the pictures that I just added, it's gone, but the folder is still there. This is just an alias, only this alias this time was created by the computer, not by you. But it really is just an alias to get to the desktop, to get to the applications, to get to the pictures, movies, or music. So you can get rid of it from here and the files are still there. They're just, they're not, you know,
No.
that's, all. They don't put it in there anymore because now these are more system files. Music gets put into the music app. People don't own their own little songs anymore. Photos get put into the photos app. You know, movies, you just stream, or if you download them, you view them and then they disappear. So those 3 folders aren't necessary anymore. And if you start putting things in them, it's like putting them in the downloads folder and that they live in your computer. And it's like a 4th and 5th place and it becomes too complicated. So now everything goes into the documents folder and you just subdivide that neatly.
Thank you. Okay, that's
You're
it.
welcome. All right. Looking at the chat. Those aliases, does anything that goes to that alias folder all go to the original file? Yes, definitely. If it goes into an alias, so I'm sharing my big document screen now. So anything I put in here. So in my real computer, I actually have like 5 folders, like just like this, right? And one is called, and I have one for classes, for the classes I teach, another one for personal stuff, and another one, I'm trying, I should look, I don't have the other one in front of me. I have the teaching account, so I don't see. I have like 4 or 5. Like I have one that I put like computer problems. Right now I'm having issues with my computer. And one for receipts or invoices or something like that, right? So what happens is that I'll get a receipt or an invoice and I don't want to go and stash it in the right place. I want to do my organization later, but I know how dangerous it is to have messes of things. And so what I do is if I get a receipt that I want to keep or something that I purchased, I do a screenshot of it, or if I receive it in the mail, I just dump it into that folder called receipts. That sends all the files straight into my documents financials folder, into a document that then when I have time, I sit maybe every 6 months, I look at all the receipts and I start going, okay, this is expenses. This is something I need to put in my taxes. This is unimportant. I already returned it and I delete it. So I organize only now and then, but when they arrive, I just drop them into here. And this folder sends them to the right place, stores them in the right place, instead of me having to first leave them in the downloads, then store them. I just put them in that folder and it goes straight to the kind of my to be organized file inside of my financial, inside of my personal, inside of my documents. So it's already organized, right? The other one is every time I do a desktop, like I see something happening on my screen that I want to show you guys, like this thing that I discovered when I saw Big Sur, that it has this thing that I didn't have before, right? Before I only saw the icons like that. So when I just saw this today, or yesterday, when I opened this computer, I went, oh, I better explain that, because in Big Sur, when I say click on this and on this, people might not see that. So I went ahead and did a screenshot of this and a screenshot of that, named the screenshots, and then I just dropped them, boom, into my folder that goes straight into my Mac class screenshots, for example. So whenever I go looking for it, I'll have a photo of it taken that I will be able to demonstrate and put in the handouts. See what I mean? So this is, to me, just a couple of the things that every now and then I'll find there's one that seems kind of silly. I remember now, one more folder of these that says quotes. I'll see something on the internet that I think is a cool quote or a poem or something I really want to remember. I'll do a screenshot of it and I'll drop that screenshot into the quotes, which is inside of my personals file, inside of the documents, where I have a folder of just little things and sayings that I want to remember. I don't want to go all the way there and organize it each time. So I just drop them into this little alias and it goes straight into my quotes folder, which is like 5 layers deep in my documents folder. Does that make sense? Just if in real life, if I could come back, if I could come back from a big shopping trip and have in front of me 5 big baskets in which if I were to drop my shoes, they'd go straight into my into my closet. And if I could just drop the butter and it would go itself and put itself in the fridge, I would be the happiest person. Well, guess what? You can do that in the computer, right? You drop it in here and it goes and sets, as long as you have set up those spaces, like the fridge for the butter to land in and the closet for the shoes to land in, I would be in heaven if I could organize by putting things into 5 different holders and have them all just organize themselves. And that's how I use the aliases myself. But another good way is like Julie said, just have the file that I want to work on right on top of the screen. When I'm working on a client, I'll have an alias to that client on my desktop. And so I'm done teaching. Now I have to turn around and do some work. I call it work, my design work. I'll double click my client's folder, open it up and keep working on those files. When I'm done with that job is delivered, I delete the alias and I move on to the next client, or I might have 2 clients at a time or whatever. So that's how I handle my files. I only have a few things on the desktop or screenshots that I take. When they first get taken, they drop automatically into the desktop and I can just round them up and put them in one of those folders. And that way they don't live on my desktop. All right, those receipts, acknowledgements, they can be from email versus postal letters, be transported to financial folders as a method of dropping one place to another for tax purposes. Yeah, so if you receive something on the mail, that's something that's an attachment, then you can download it straight into the right place. As I just showed Marie, let me see if I can show you this again. Let me share the screen. Say that this thing here is a receipt for my work. Right now, it's something I need to put into my financial folder. Got it? So when I right click, instead of letting it go straight to the downloads, I actually, instead of downloading linked file, which downloads to the downloads, I go download linked file as, and then here I can go into documents, into financial, into whatever, or if I have in the desktop an alias to financial, say that this was an alias to financial, I just do that, save, and it went straight there. So if I now were to look at my desktop, I think I dropped it in from my desktop alias. There it is. I dropped in there that file. It was straight into what could have been my financial folder. So you can do it directly that way. The only thing is that if you do that, you always have to remember to keep reviewing and sending it to the right place. All right, I'll see you guys on Thursday. On Thursday, I'm still here. I'm not in Argentina. Then I'll be flying on Saturday. So on Thursday, I am here, and everyone, I'll see you here in Santa Barbara. I'll see you
As
next week.
always, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye, guys. When is this available to view via pipeline? It takes about 3 or 4 hours for the video to be viewable in low res. High res, it takes 2 or 3 days, but it's available to be viewed as of this, probably this evening.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye, guys. Thank you for making it, Donis. Take care. Bye.